Endless beef. What up, Fat? What up, Fade? Y'all know what time it is. This is Monday. You already know what we're getting ready to. Oh, let me first of all turn the sound of my headphones up, but also turn the sound of my phone off.
Fight!
Let me go get an Arizona. I'll be back.
Fight! Fight!
What's up, Globus? What's up, Kuma? There's some dude that wanted to talk to me and Eli. What's up, y'all? I'm just like texting a friend real quick, let him know I'm live. Alright. Let's get into some games. I'm just chilling. Gotta re-fucking start the damn game. Yo, Bryce live. Brees live. Briss live. Dope shirt. Oh, this is a, hold on. It's a Silence of the Lambs tee my best friend got me. We'll play Hunt tonight. What up, Heavy T? Yeah, my best friend got me this shirt. I haven't really talked to her in a while, but... yeah, she got me a lot of sick stuff. We used to get each other a lot of sick stuff. What up, Kath? Nah, I haven't talked to Taj. I just went live 10 minutes ago. He hasn't come in yet. The other dude that me and Eli are supposed to talk to hasn't pulled up yet either. He's like tweeting and stuff, trying to get us to join his Discord channel or something, but... oh yeah, that's right. Let me open Discord. Also, I'm gonna go get a towel. Oh, that's who Bry's live is, that guy. Alright. This fucking dickhead. Okay, I'll be right back. What up, Heavy T? I'm still gonna play Mortal Kombat. I'm absolutely still gonna play Mortal Kombat. That sucks, Kath. That sucks, Kathy. That is some shit. I am, knock on wood, it's been a minute since I got a flat, but yeah, I still gotta fix my side mirror. My side view mirror is still spazzed. Wait a minute, hold up. Bri is live. Before I waste my time talking to you, are you a Brit bonger? You better not be fucking English. You better not be from England. I swear to God. If you get in this call and you're fucking British, I'm hanging up on you. I fucking asked him to send his fucking tag again, and now he's... I don't know what the fuck is going on with him. I got a fan? No, I don't have a fan in here. So, like, I'm getting AC soon. It's fine. I'm getting AC. Don't worry about me. Even if I'm not, I'm only going to be in this room this hot for, like, shit, like 2 months at the most. Oh, and you fucking... Oh my god. Why am I talking to this guy? How do I call someone, or like... Yeah, how do I call someone without adding them as a friend? I don't give a fuck about this guy on my friends list. Fuck it, I'll just add him and remove him later, I guess. Nah, Eli's not here. I'm too hot to be grilling today? Yeah. I appreciate you, Heavy T. I appreciate you, Heavy T. It's all good. I'm only going to be in the heat like this for like... If I don't get an AC, I'm only gonna be in here for like 2 months. It's gonna cool off in like September, October, and it'll be fine. Even if I don't get AC, but I'll probably get AC before then. The house has central air. It's just not very strong. And this room doesn't have any fucking like shades or anything on the windows, so it gets very hot in here early in the morning, and then just kind of stays hot throughout the day. Dog, how do you guys know how to like call people who aren't on your friends list on oh never mind, I got it. Oh, you can only DM friends? This dude Bry's live or Briss live. This dude Briss live. It definitely would, Mad to BBL. I definitely feel you there. What am I... So I can only send DMs to friends, I take it. Whatever, I'm just gonna send this dude a friend request. What up, Mouty? Alright, I sent him the friend request. So I'm gonna get into a game before he fucking... There he goes. Okay, never mind. Alright. Alright, I'm calling him now. I'm gonna play Mortal Kombat. He can't make me not play Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
Sup, Chief. So what's the skinny? What you got for me? You're muted.
Yeah, wait, better? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yep.
Alright. What is up, dude?
What's happening? Hold on, let me turn the music down in the game I'm playing.
Yeah, no problem. I muted mine, just
Okay. Alright. Okay, what's up?
Not much. How's it going? How you doing today?
We're playing, it's Mortal Monday, we're playing Mortal Kombat 11. Gonna play some Combat League. What you up to? How's your Monday?
My Monday's good. It's I'm on summer break from uni, so it's good time. Great time.
I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I've seen you tweet a lot of shit that I consider like really, really dumb shit, and I wanted to talk to you directly. And granted, I will apologize. That is like kind of rude of me and aggressive of me to say, but I just want to make it abundantly clear that I'm perfectly comfortable saying that directly to your face.
You feel and being you said what you said.
Okay, awesome. So, and I want to also give you the mic because I want to hear and listen explicitly, very carefully, everything that you want to say to me with regards to deplatforming and anything that you've tweeted. So, I want to fully hear you out.
Alrighty. So, what's your first question then?
So what do you think is what is your end what is the ideal outcome with things like deplatforming?
The ideal outcome with deplatforming is that ideology is not, first of all, is not seen as mainstream. It's treated the way that it is, which is extremist ideology that should not be engaged unless we're engaging it in combat. But number two, to make people who those types of ideologies target not have to deal with that kind of shit, beyond just the long-term idealistic goal of, making white supremacists niche or fringe people instead of just treating them like they have a differing opinion. Beyond that, it's making sure that trans people, black people, whoever, when they come into chat or when they view media and they want to just have a chill and good time, they don't have to watch people arguing the validity of their existence. That would be what I would hope is a primary concern.
Okay, so yeah, so the main outcome is that you want. Well, there were two things. I'm going to ask you to clarify the statement a little bit because you said that you don't want it to be mainstream. You want it to be fringed as it is. So it seems like I'm interested. Do you think that these ideas that people are talking about? I just kind of clarifying. What I'm expecting that you mean is that you don't want it to go from being the fringe outlier belief into then becoming mainstream. Is that what you're trying to say?
Hang on.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
Get dealt with. So, the issue I have is, deplatforming literally shuts them down and prevents them from networking, prevents them from recruiting. Richard Spencer himself has said as much. Beyond that, my experience coming from my experience coming from get dealt with. Coming from the punk scene, the metal scene, and actually regularly coming into contact with these types of people. Fatality. It's kind of like a rite of passage for people in certain areas to, when you're in those scenes, that was a flawless victory. Sheesh. When you're in those scenes to kind of it's oh, there's a Nazi here, what's everyone going to do? And either kick him out or a fight happens or whatever.
It's like a script.
I mean, not really. It's not really a script. It's just once you understand how the white supremacists actually operate, it makes total sense. So the thing about white supremacy is, even in times of 50s, 60s, colonial times or whatever, your average person, and this is what I think people hint at when they say that not everyone is a white supremacist. Your average person doesn't want to see or do lynchings and that type of shit, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that person is going to fight against the system. So, for example, lots of people would be at a diner that might be a whites only diner, and the people who are all there might not necessarily all hate black people, but if one person calls the cops if a black person shows up, and
yeah, there's bystander effect, right? That's kind of like human behavior. There's a lot of instances when somebody's not going to be comfortable or feel safe, act out and either protest of like this or that or whatever. Like this is a pretty common like psychological thing that humans do. So I think the main thing that I really want to focus on is that whole idea of like mainstream ideology, because there's some side points about like recruiting, all these kinds of things, but
it's not a side point. The main reason why neo-Nazis talk.
Okay, secondary. We don't have to say side point. We can say like secondary points. The primary point, or like the initial point, the number one point that we want to talk about is like there's a bit of like a mistake there with regards to the whole mainstream versus fringe, because I've talked to like a few reply Andes on Twitter, and the majority of studies that everybody sent me, not a single one of them actually detail that exact impact. What ends up happening is that when you deplatform somebody like Richard Spencer or Trump or like lots of other like unsavory people that we both don't like, the main thing that happens is that every outcome is is limited to that platform. So when we look at the studies, somebody tweeted, I think subtweeted or responded to you guys, and sent me like 5 or 6 studies, and I went through each and every one of them, and the only ones that talked about outcomes on the like impact were people that like, well, limited to Reddit, limited to Twitter, there's an impact, but outside of those platforms there's not really an impact. So with the actual outcome, like the goal outcome of like reducing the spread of that ideology, like reducing the recruiting, like all these things don't really manifest in the real world. This hasn't been proven.
That was never the point, friends. So so that was literally never the point. The entire world is run by white supremacists. Like, if the goal is to reduce...
Wait, can you... I'm sorry, I gotta interrupt you right there. When you say, like, the goal is, like, the world is run by white supremacists, like, what do you mean by that?
As in, Europe pretty much colonized the world. The status quo of the world is capitalism. Capitalism is itself, in the way that it's currently set up, a white supremacist organization of the economy.
Okay, so that's like a lot of like assumptions, a lot of things that we wouldn't really agree with. So
because Europe, you can call it an assumption, but there's actually studies on this stuff. So when we're talking about studies, I don't tell you,
as I've just proven with the other studies probably do exist, but they probably don't say what you think or like what you're trying to say that they say, right? Like
no, okay, hang on. I'm gonna finish this game and then I'm gonna talk to you for real, because
sure.
Hang on, and this guy's talking shit too.
Okay, that's fine.
So nice. Cook, man.
So you mean like colonialism, right? Like just because Europe covered the world with colonialism, essentially, like it's really reductive about it, does not equate to the world being like world supremacist, right? Like
so
there could be like residuals. There could be residuals of colonialism. There could be residuals of this and that.
You literally live in a colony. The indigenous people of this place were genocided, and now the people who live here are descendants of settlers. Like what?
I mean, what? That does.
He literally only does that kick.
Those things could be true, and the white supremacy could be false.
Hang on, I have 2 people talking to my ears at the same time. That's why I said I gotta finish this match first. Give me a second.
So bro moves
yeah, no problem. Take your time. I'm gonna try to get Eli in here.
That stupid ass ground pound. That stupid ass motherfucking rush it. That's it.
I have to add him.
Almost got it. Don't try to switch your moves up now. Don't switch your moves up now that I'm calling God it. Like, now the dog won't switch his moves. No. Ow! This nigga literally loves grabbing me. I don't get it. Wow, he's on me to death. Just get the win, brother. You got it. You got it. And that same kick is really what I'm talking about. Don't teabag. You didn't do nothing crazy on Mortal Kombat. You don't have to teabag. On the old ass Mortal Kombat, this shit came out what, 2020, 2019? You don't have to teabag. You don't have to be all crazy and loony. You got your win.
You had all that time to learn how to get good at this game.
I got to your level. I bet everything I love you higher level than me. I bet my soul you higher level than me.
Oh my god. This guy is
I can't make this shit up. I knew you was higher level than me. Niggas play anyway just to rank up. It don't make no sense to me. He got it though. You feel me?
Hey, what's up,
I'm
man?
listening to her.
What up,
is-
What up, Eli?
you know.
Okay, all right, Eli's here. Okay, all right. So let's start from the beginning because I feel like I didn't adequately explain the point of deplatforming. The point of deplatforming is exactly that: is you take the fascists off of the platform, because what happens is, just like we view right now with some of these people's communities, when you let one of those people in, they bring their friends. Not only that, the people that those communities target, they leave, right? And you could talk about all the studies and shit, but this is literally what happens in real life. This is why music venues and stuff, they pay security and they have lists specifically to keep out people who are in Nazi gangs and so on and so forth out. Why? Because those people are dangerous, both in ideology and in actual literal physicality, right? Your average white supremacist, like lots of white supremacists, like the diehard white supremacists, are not on the internet at all. They're shooting roids and at the range, shooting their guns and preparing for Rahowa, right? The point is that you don't want to have the mainstreamization of those types of talking points on a platform like Twitch, because what happens is you get lots of other little kids who view those issues as just matters of opinion and not as things that they should be treated, like the extremism that they should be treated as, because they appear in those areas where they would not normally be exposed to, right? A teenager on Twitch wouldn't normally be exposed to far-right neo-Nazi rhetoric unless someone decides that they want to debate someone like that because they want to prove that they're smart and blow up their engagements, right? So when you talk about this not reducing the amount of fascism in the world, then it's absolutely nothing can be done. Like, your point's literally like, hey, this doesn't work, but you also can't demonstrate this whole de-radicalization thing. And when I ask you to show me these people who have been de-radicalized by what you're doing, you can't show them to me. Not only that, you point to Daryl Davis as if Daryl Davis, because can I just say for a second that I absolutely love when you guys bring up Daryl Davis, because he's from my home state and I've done my homework on him specifically because of that and the work that he's done with the KKK in Maryland, where he claims that he has all of these hoods and he's talked to all these Klansmen and they're all his friends. But then when you look at their social media profiles, it's them talking about how they're using the dumb N-word to get out of jail and proselytize and sanitize their image, because that's the point. Neo-Nazis are on these platforms to recruit, period. They infiltrate niche communities, whether we're talking about video gamers, we're talking about punks, metalheads, anime people, whoever, right? And they appeal to people who experience alienation, not just isolation, right? Because isolated people are not more prone to be extremists than non-isolated people. It's people who experience both alienation and isolation, and they convince those kids that, hey, the thing that you experience that's making you miserable is not the status quo. It's not capitalism fucking you over. It's not patriarchy making you feel like you're less than the man than you should be. It's not any of those things. It's actually Jews and black people and immigrants fucking the economy up, and so on and so forth. So when you say that giving these people a seat at the table when they haven't demonstrated that they're not dangerous to the people already sitting at the table, number one, it just makes the people who don't want to sit with that person get up and fucking leave, which has a noticeable effect, and there has been an effect on Stardust community specifically. But number two, it doesn't change anything.
It's been in a lot of communities, actually.
I'm just saying that because this came out of my conversation with Stardust, where the question I still have, that I will always have, is where are the de-radicalized people? Because the only de-radicalized people that I can think of prominently are like Richard Spencer's ex-girlfriend, right? And those are people who necessarily have multiple axes of oppression, so they fucking would eventually become de-radicalized because they were never part of the club to begin with. They just thought they were.
Okay, so that's like would you say, like, are you completed? Because I don't want to cut you off and interrupt you.
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, awesome. There's a number of different things that I wanted to respond to. So you said that they bring their audience with them to these platforms. Don't you think that this yields that's what I heard you say, is that when they come, they bring all their friends, essentially, which means, like, when they become accessible in this space, they also bring more than just themselves, right? Like that's,
so when so when you're talking about you're trying to engage with this person's audience, yes, like when you're inviting that person's audience into your audience, so on and so forth, especially as Stardust admitted, where she says that she only vets people after they've already been in the audience, which is like, why would you wait until after the person's come into your Discord server and spam slurs and horrible images and so on and so forth?
The problem with the difficulty with that is vetting on with regards to how we're talking about is only so effective, right? So you could have somebody like if we were to take the approach that you had, there's no infallible approach to take, because even in your approach,
there is. You could just have them denounce white supremacy and then move from there.
Wait, what if somebody just denounces white supremacy and then like that they just pay the lip service? Like that doesn't mean anything. You could literally, I've seen that happen. Like I don't know if you
that's
don't really
you. Hold on, wait a minute. You know that's an argument against de-radicalization, right?
What is your because what is your goal here? What did you want to
Well, yeah, honestly, you guys said all kinds of stuff, so I was wanting to respond to a lot of it. And with regard, so my approach to de-radicalization is probably not what you think it is. But what I wanted to say, the main thing with the whole essentially there's access to new people, and my approach that I'm going to make the side note to why that particular point is important is because my approach is my thing in general, like with regards to my stream and my general beliefs, is that we need to give people like the skills and tools to be able to understand things themselves as individuals, right?
Okay, hang on, really quick. Is that more important to you than protecting marginalized communities?
It's not an either or. You can't give me like an ultimatum, like a zero-sum game. No, that's not fair. No, that's extremely stupid.
It literally is.
No, that is presenting. No, it's presenting a zero-sum situation. No, it's literally.
No, that is literally.
Hey, I'm hanging up on you. I'm out. This dude is too stupid. This dude is too stupid. You're telling me you can hang out with Nazis and hang out with black people at the same time? Yeah, no way. I'm out. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this dude from my friends list too. He was getting heated, and I'm getting heated too, and it's just not like I don't enjoy that shit. Like I don't know, like it's funny to you all, and it's funny to me, but he's just gonna go in circles and back and forth about that, and we're never gonna get anywhere. And no matter what we say or do in this fucking conversation, he's gonna front like he dunked on me and I was like whatever anyway. So it's just, if you can't answer whether or not you value protecting marginalized communities more than you value reaching out to neo-Nazis, then I don't want to talk to you. Bet. Hey, I'm joining BBC, Aston.
You're a weapon of mass destruction.
That is how you think of me.
Of anyone calling himself a god.
Round one, fight.
I did boot him.
Yo, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Alright, bet. I just want to come on and set the record straight about the data. I don't think they hear me on stream though.
Oh yeah, the game is...
Yeah, I'll wait.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me. I definitely... Are you fucking kidding me? I neutral ducked that grab, bro. That wasn't Fabian. That was that dude Briss Live or was that? Yeah, the game is way louder than me.
Yeah, I figured.
I'm gonna beat this fucking lady's ass right now. Bop, 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 bop. Bop.
I'm behind, so just let me know when your game's done.
Oh, I'm silly for that. And even sillier for that. Alright, I'm gonna just quit this shit. Fuck it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yo. Okay, let me... Where the fuck is my...
It's just, it gets so fucking tiresome to me when you could just say you desire to reach out to those people more than you desire to protect marginalized communities. Because
Correct.
you have two black people telling you you need to prioritize one before the other, period. And you're like, nah, I trust the scientific data that doesn't even say what I think it's saying.
That's what I came to come on with, because I can't stand the like pseudo intellectualism, because like they don't. This is the same thing I was like talking to Wick, and like Wick doesn't know how to read studies, because every single study, even the studies that say that the user may become more toxic after being deplatformed, says that they reduce the audience size immediately. That the audience is reduced, which stops the spread of hate speech, stops the spread of harassment, stops the spread, like all the things that we're talking about when we're talking about protecting the marginalized groups. It's not going to de-radicalize the person that you're deplatforming, but that's literally not the goal. The goal is it's to protect the community. And there's so much info on this, like it hurts. Like you can say maybe they become more toxic when they get off. There actually isn't a qualitative study to actually see if the once they quote unquote become more toxic, because sometimes they'll go to other platforms and wear it like a badge of honor. There's no qualitative study to show that those people are actually now more violent or more likely to do extremist damage.
Doesn't Destiny complain all the time about his ban and how he has to stream on Cozy now? Like,
I don't know. I'd have to watch Destiny to know.
Yeah, fair. I don't watch him either, so. But like the pseudo intellectualism is so strong. He literally argued against his own point in his conversations. Like, how do you know they won't just pretend to be liberal? They just won't just pay lip service and keep doing the same thing. And I was like, oh, you mean like what those Klansmen that Daryl Davis said he radicalized did to him? Like, it's just the stupidest shit ever.
Yeah, and the biggest point here is like I hate when people go and like actually go talk to some psychologists. For example, one of our mutual friends, Fluff, has a master's in psychology. Like, actually talk to the researchers about what their studies say, instead of trying to like pick apart like one sentence from the study that you think says what you think it means, without ever understanding what the methodology of the study or what even what the limitation section of the fucking study says, right?
It's the Beanie Siegel quote. You're not qualified to speak on that.
Yeah. 100%. And it gets so fucking frustrating, because we see that deplatforming works. If anybody in the audience is interested, the study that you're going to want to look for is on deplatforming as a moderation tool for Twitter, and there's one on deplatforming on Reddit. And then there's also, like I said, there's a few that follow whether or not, like there's one for Telegram to see if if once banned from Twitter, if they become toxic on Telegram. There are other studies too, but those are like the two main ones that actually like look at the deplatforming. But literally every single study says it reduces the audience, which is like the point. Like last time I checked, your whole point was, and correct me if I'm wrong.
At this point right now, I got like $20 on it.
Black people?
I started on 50 cents though. Again.
Hang on, I'm sorry, I forgot. I went into another game just to play, and then realized that the mic was on, and that dude was screaming in my fucking ear. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
No, I was saying it's interesting that I think that your goal is, what was it again? Oh yeah, protect black people, right? And every study says that it reduces the amount of hate speech, toxicity, and audience size for the. So what else are you guys looking at that you guys want to be?
They don't think, because they don't believe microaggressions are real. They don't think when you log into the internet and see motherfuckers using slurs and shit all the time, they think that if that impacts you, then you have a thin skin that you need to just toughen up and get a thicker skin on the internet.
even though we have studies that show that when you're inundated with dehumanizing language, you become actually numb to it, so that you actually can't identify. That's actually how the white supremacists work, by the way. That's how when they take over small communities like the offshoots of 4chan or the gamer groups or whatever, by spamming Nazi rhetoric or using dehumanizing language all the time, when they finally hit you with the Nazi ideology, you don't even see that they're saying it anymore because you're so dehumanized. And we have data on that. It's why researchers that go into these Nazi groups, by the way, that go into the alt-right, literally need therapy when they come out. And these are trained researchers.
Don't tell Stardust that.
Right? Fuck. And then by the way, like, and you don't think it's a coincidence that, like, go look at your audience, what your audience says. Go look what my audience says. Go look what everybody else's audience says. Even Vosh's audience. But then go look at what fucking Stardust's audience said while you were the fucking on there.
Oh, yeah.
Unga bunga.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Oh, no.
Fuck?
They think they're acting like that's not racist at all. It's some other completely unrelated meme. Just like the Hong Kong thing is just about ducks. It has nothing to do with Hong Kong. You know what I mean?
Even though in the interview, Richard Spencer literally goes, you know, that's a Nazi meme. Like, he literally calls it out for that. And yet there is still no condemnation. No, maybe we shouldn't do this from Stardust. And at the end of the day, I get it. You guys are so you know, you guys all want to be, and they hate it when I say this, but it's like, y'all want to be the white savior. Y'all want to come in and be the one that gets to say, like, I solved the racism problem, or I fixed.
I was gonna say it's not even that. It would be, honestly, I would appreciate it more if it were that. But you and I both know what it is. They want to be Destiny. They want to have a dope fucking content YouTube video of her quote unquote dunking on some dumbass fucking toothless redneck white supremacist or something that everybody watches and is like, damn, I fuck with this person, Stardust. Let me subscribe to her and follow her, and like. That's what they want. That's what they want.
Which is why when we were talking, you'll notice that any time that we tried to talk about, like, why are you doing this? Like, what is the point? And then she tried to say it wasn't de-radicalization. Her counter is always, I'm an entertainer first. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. You're talking to Nazis. Yeah, you're talking to Nazis for clicks. You're not humanizing them to de-radicalize them or to protect black people or for any other noble reason. You're humanizing yourself to them so that they'll like you, so that they'll keep clicking on your shit.
And that's assuming that she's even humanizing herself to them, because as our friend, what's his name, Briss, whatever, just said, they could totally just pay lip service to you just to get access to your community.
I know you didn't watch the Stardust interview, so let me give you something that like will absolutely like make you live. I know you didn't watch in the interview. Richard Spencer literally had to say, "I'm not a liberal. Everybody thinks I'm a liberal now because of this rhetoric, but you need to know that I'm not a liberal. Everybody confuses me now. They're like, oh, he's a liberal. He's a liberal. Huh. So if everybody thinks he's a liberal now, don't you, and he's still a Nazi, don't you think it's really dangerous to maybe, I don't know, spread that around?
Because she trusts her audience. She thinks her audience is smart, and that's why they say things like Unga Bunga and call Jason Society a nigger lover whenever they talk to him.
Bruh, or yee ha, let's go around burning. Like, don't even get me started with that. Was like honestly like a parody how racist they were while you were talking, dude. Like, I was like, I actually couldn't believe what I was reading.
It's wild because, and it doesn't matter whether we're talking about Dylan or we're talking about whoever, like that will appear, and then you got to act like it's completely like unique. Like, damn, how does that person how do you know they're from my audience or whatever? And it's like, well, I wouldn't have encountered this person. The only common denominator between me and this person now is you, because you yourself are claiming I don't get hate raids like that, even though I have in the past. And there's been people in here who have seen it and participated in trying to moderate that shit, but
Meanwhile, and this is the exact point, right? Like, hey, when I talk to you, it's crazy. I don't get any assholes in my chat. I actually get really base people to come over and talk, or all these different groups. Wait, after I talked to Stardust, I had people talking about like how they wish that that schools were armed, so that like literally interrupted Zoom call that I was having with the Take Action Institute, with the Heritage, with the Holocaust Memorial Foundation. And and I'm like, wow, isn't it really weird how after talking to Stardust, I get all of the right-wing alt-right trolls?
Right.
Weird, right?
Really weird how Fabian Liberty tweets us that me and Greycraft, that we're talking together, and suddenly Greycraft's fucking chat is filled with people who think slavery is cool.
Right? Like, it's like, what's the fuck? I don't know what the fucking pattern could be. This Negro's just too slow to understand. Right. Maybe I'm too uppity to get it, you know?
Right. Fucking, let me address chat real quick, because I ain't said what's up to chat in a minute. Arun's in here. Arun says, what's up, Aston? Mad's a BBL, what up? Mad says, satire died so Stardust could thrive. That's funny as shit. Squid Eye Dyer, what's up, fam? Squid Eye Deer, I'm sorry. What up, Kevin FM? The homie, the superior Kevin. What up, Mouty, my brother from another mother? What up, Globus, of course. Yeah. Fuzzy Slippers still in this bitch. The bar analogy still applies. It's like, and that's the only analogy you need. It really is, because at least for me, that's shit that I've seen and lived. So I know. You can't tell me. I used to fucking kick Nazis out of the bar. When you let them in, your bar becomes a Nazi bar, right? It doesn't fucking matter. Just because you let them in, because the owner of the bar feels sorry for them, will not change what's going to happen, right? And if you want to talk to them, and quote unquote de-radicalize them, guess where you do that? Outside of the fucking bar. You do that in the quiet and safety and comfort of that person or your person's own fucking home, or at a restaurant, or somewhere where nobody gives a fuck about who they are and why they're there.
And that's the thing, is like, you don't interview the people you're trying to de-radicalize. I go over all the time. I don't not believe in de-radicalization. As you've said, nobody's fucking irredeemable, right? But like, there are Nazis that I've de-radicalized, and it is a long time before I let them actually participate in groups. And these are people that are saying, hey, I want to help. Hey, how can I help Black Lives Matter? How can I help what you're doing? How can I had one former KKK member, well, 3% or whatever you want to call them. They're all the KKK, basically. At Juneteenth, helping us tear down and put up and spread Black awareness. Like,
and it's not that, even. Like, and if I could interject, because it's not even, because people will hear that, and it's not even about excluding that person. It's about the other people that you'll be working with being uncomfortable around them and their background.
Exactly, and also, like, low key, high key. I don't know if I never know if they're really converted. You need to put together a body of work to prove to me that you can be safe in my environment. Now, this guy is now safe. I believe him because of the body of work he's put in to prove to us that he can be around us. Because at the end of the day, because it starts off like, man, even when he thought he was on the, like, he was good, he was still cracking the wrong kind of jokes. You know what I mean? And he was still saying the wrong kinds of things. And I'm like, you don't understand. Nobody's going to feel safe around you. No one's going to know whether or not we can even stand around you, whether we can like show you our family members, because that's a thing they don't talk about.
Because they don't understand that themselves, because they do the ironic N-word shit all the fucking time. They themselves do that shit. So this is why they think that we talk about that shit just because we're triggered or whatever. And it's like, no, fucking genius. Is because you spend all this time saying the N-word as a joke. How do you know when someone says it and they're not joking?
Well, exactly. And this is what I want to like tell people about, because they think that, like, and this is the problem. Y'all live in bubbles, in terminally online bubbles, where you don't have to actually deal with the real deal white supremacists and the consequences of that. Right. Like, it's really cool that, like, Hippie, my buddy, fought with a 3%er. But what's really not cool is y'all don't know that we were all scared to death because we infiltrated their Facebook groups, and they had people's grandma's name in names in there.
Oh yeah, I've been doxxed. People I care about have been doxxed. It's a whole thing that you probably don't even, not you, but them, they probably don't even know about.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's exactly why you have to be careful about, like, that's why I'm like, I don't know if I can bring this dude around people, because all he has to do is learn your name and been lying to me, and then you're fucked.
Right.
You're fucked. Your family's fucked. Who knows where? What if your brother happens to work on a not safe side of town? Oh well, like they found him. Like it's so bad, and people don't consider the real harm because to them, racism is some sort of curiosity of the past. Like we're not still getting attacked out here. We're not still getting hung out here.
You heard that, dude. He doesn't think that the world is still run by white supremacy.
That's because they don't understand what white supremacy is, and that's part of the problem. That's
also true.
I can't stand when how many times a white person's going to tell me something's not white supremacy before they just ask a black person what they fucking mean. Right. And what we mean is find me the place on the fucking planet where white people aren't on top.
Right.
Where? Show me where.
Maybe like Saudi Arabia or something, but still we got nukes.
No, not Saudi Arabia, because guess what? The few white people that are there are rich as fuck. Guess what? Guess what knee they bow to? They bow to the white supremacist countries that run the world. Like that's why you can't even go to Africa, where you have African governments with black people in places of power, and say that they're untouched by white supremacy, because at the fucking end of the day, they gotta bend the knee to some white supremacist countries to be able to even fucking exist. That's how capitalism works.
We're talking about France. We're talking about UK. Whoever.
I just did an interview with Arun in here, and we were talking about how, like, in Sri Lanka there's this whole emergency, and it's Singalan supremacy down there where they're having their genocide. But guess where all of that came from? It came from a lot of it came from effects from the West. Like we were talking about the IMF.
Fucking Liberia, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so frustrating that, like, there's nowhere you can go on this planet. Like, if you name the one place where white supremacy doesn't exist, and I can name you, that's the one place I can go and finally not be black anymore. But as it stands, I can't go anywhere on this planet and not be black.
I haven't had a situation with Period app, no. I don't use Period apps, though. I thought about downloading it and just fucking around with it just to make the data chaotic, but I didn't put the effort in. Non-binary. Also, welcome, non-binary superpowers. Good to see you. It's been a little minute.
It's also needs to be said, too, that de-radicalization doesn't happen in a day or a week or a month. It really takes some fucking time. And experts, honestly, you don't need to be none of them are like equipped as therapists. Like, I would like to see their licenses, because like you actually need to be a
it's because they genuinely think white supremacy is just like when you hate black people and use slurs, and like if you make friends with a person of color, then like them being cool and like eating lunch with you and liking the same anime as you and shit will make you think like, damn, maybe all of the other black people are cool, and I'll stop using slurs and shit now. And then eventually, if you do that with enough people, that means that the prison industrial complex will collapse, the military industrial complex will collapse, forced sterilizations and fucking medical experiments will end. Like, they really genuinely believe, like, the Pepsi commercial. Like, you could just end police brutality by walking up to them in the middle of a protest and handing them a Pepsi.
Beyond your limits.
And do you know why? Well, it's multifaceted. But one of the main reasons why is because they're all fucking pseudo-intellectuals, and they think they understand the contact hypothesis. But if you go back and read Allport's theory and the nature of prejudice, he talks about how there needs to be specific conditions for the two groups to be in contact. It's not just they see each other and smile. In fact, he talks about that when the two groups meet each other and are interacting, oftentimes that can lead to increased amounts of stereotyping. So that's why, again, how many times do we have to see white supremacists or KKK members with black wives? Like, I don't know what else to say about that. Like, and they also think, and this is the other thing that's frustrating, they also think that they're ostracized. They think white supremacists aren't allowed in society. And I'm like, brother, I see them. They literally go to the gas station with me. They're allowed in every restaurant I've ever.
Right. Yo, Universal Discourse. What's up? Thank you.
I've never seen somebody kicked out of a restaurant for wearing a Confederate flag.
I've seen the opposite, actually. I've seen hella black people eat that.
Yeah, for wearing Black Lives Matter. True. Matter of fact, I live in a state where they ban CRT, so we can't even talk about blackness in school. But you're damn well sure that I learned that the Civil War was about states' rights and all of the lost cause myth. That's what I learned in my grade school educational experience. But they'll make sure to ban CRT first, right? That's what we're talking about when we talk about systems and institutions that are infected with white supremacy. Don't you do them? Don't listen. You got to flip to win.
Yeah.
Battle 3. Fight.
But yeah, that's just. I had to go off on that for a second. I didn't mean to go. My main thing is I just wanted to make sure people understood that. Like, I've got receipts. I can do it all day.
Oh yeah. You know me. I don't do that shit with people. I ask you a very simple ethical question, and if you can't answer that.
Yeah, and they can't be honest because they this is about them. This is about I want to do what I'm going to do, and I don't really care about you. It's basically like the anti-masker shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing it, blah blah blah, and then they come up with They literally do the exact same thing the anti-maskers do. They'll bastardize studies, clip things. Wick literally in a conversation, not only did he cite the study, but then he quoted it, and there was a comma, and after the comma said all the stuff that I was talking about. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Did you just think we weren't read it? Like, do you what? It's literally unbelievable the amount of dishonesty they have with themselves, and it's only and let's get back to the point. It's only because they want to be allowed to do what they want because it gets them clicks, and they don't really care how they get the clicks.
Right? Are you fucking kidding me? How did that miss? Come on now.
This ends here.
Fight.
Get there.
Nah.
I was blocking. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's get something going.
Yo, I like your boy Heavy out here just saying, I hear racist shit every time I eat breakfast at a biscuit spot down here in Georgia. It ain't gone nowhere. And that's exactly the point.
Oh my god. But yes, there's racist shit.
Claim victory.
Just because you don't see and maybe that should be it's so crazy to me because me as a person, I'm a man, right? I'm a cis het man, right? So when a girl says that there's some misogyny going on, the first thing I do isn't try to prove that I'm not misogynist.
Right.
I sit down, I'm like, wait, what do you mean I'm being misogynist? What do you mean there's misogyny around here? Sit down and listen to what the fuck we're saying, because maybe as a man, I might have a blind spot for misogyny. I don't know.
Facts. Don't let Stardust hear you say that, though.
Then she'll tell everybody that I was just trying to control her.
And reach for
We're just trying to control her by telling her that she should probably stop talking to people that call her slurs.
And maybe don't pedal. And maybe don't make race realism sound nice in your interview. Maybe don't make it sound like it's based in biological fact in your interview. Maybe, I don't know, even the slightest amount of pushback should be said. Instead, she pulls the Tucker Carlson thing at the end, where it's we don't like racism, and I think he's racist.
The same thing in the beginning too, where it's the disclaimer, and it's okay, well.
No escape. Get ready.
Yeah, it's please, nobody, unless you let people know, nobody actually knows what part of what he said was wrong.
Exactly. Just all of it was wrong, because some of it sounded kind of cool. I agree with some of it, right? And it's
that's the worst part is if you listen to the interview, she agrees with parts of it, and it's anyway. It is what it is, man. I've said my piece, though. I don't need to. Like I've said, much like the Nazis that they're talking to. It's about time we stop engaging and deplatform them, right?
I was just about to say, at a certain point, when I get bored, I'm just gonna go this is fucking stupid now.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I can't have people that are dangerous for the community around my people. I got my people come first. And it's not me trying to be favoritist or racist. I don't think anybody's irredeemable. You know, Stardust wants to come and learn to take criticism and talk with us, but right now I can't trust with an audience like that that I know you, that I understand you, and that you are someone that I can allow into these groups and not dox people, because that's the worst part is like when you're complicit like that, when you're a useful idiot for them, like they can get you to do wild shit that you like you know what I mean? Like what happens when Richard Spencer goes, hey, who's that guy? And then you give him a name.
Right.
Like not for me. Nah.
Weird. This dude Wolftarian wants to talk to you. He's
Farewell.
from Star. He's the black dude.
Why, thank you, Black Moses.
Sure, he can speak to me only once. I mean, I don't know what else
Gonna
there is.
part the white seas.
I was gonna say, are you trying to talk to him live, or what you trying to do?
Yeah.
You will.
You will part the
I first spoke to him. Just so you know the backstory behind this person, the first time I spoke to Stardust, I tried to call her out on not having any black people in her community, and Wolftarian is from her community.
Okay, well, tell him to message me on Twitch, and he can we can swap Discord info and we can talk.
Yeah, he's Wolftarian in my chat right now.
Yeah, like
fucking KB.
Yeah,
the chosen one. Yeah, he's the one, the chosen one.
My man.
All right, let me drop out of this, and I'll talk to him off stream.
Bet. All right, if we're not doing politics anymore, I might fuck around and go back to Mortal Kombat, unless y'all want me to keep playing Soulcalibur. Cause I was supposed to talk to Taj too, but he ain't come in.
Should I pretend to be racist so you have content?
Nah, I could just talk to Stardust to get an actual racist.
Damn, dude, you're going hard on that.
If
You're like, I'm ready to move on. JK.
I'm ready to move on.
Psych.
Really. If I wanted to talk to racists,
I put that shit in my Torah.
If I wanted to talk to racists, I would just ask to get put on Hippy Dippy or something.
This is your Passover. Like once every week. Once a year.
Pretend.
What are you trying to... I feel like asking, you should at least make him tell you what you're gonna talk. He wants to talk about first.
Right. No, she already tried that with me, Mouty. It was in the end of our conversation where she was like, this is proof that I talked to both sides. When really what she wanted to say is, this is proof that I talk to black people.
I don't think talking both, like, what the fuck's even on both sides? Just somebody that's not racist?
Yeah, no, like leftists and rightists, because she thinks I'm a tanky.
Listen, you're not tanky.
I'm not even. I'm barely even a communist.
I give you more shit for that nonsense than anybody else.
Right.
Anything.
And it's not even anything that I'm like hard fast stuck to.
No, you just quote Mao sometimes, and I'm like, you gotta stop that.
Nah, fuck no. Mao is based.
All right, you gotta stop.
Tankless cemetery. Mao said power flows from the barrel of a gun, and that was correct.
Yeah, when he shot all the intellectuals.
Yeah, but it was still it's still correct when the police shoot black people.
Okay, but like Hitler had some things. I'm sure if you took out like just put it like cut out the sentence, it would sound decent.
Yeah, you know what parts?
It was like, it's a beautiful day outside.
It's
like,
yeah, I was gonna say, you know what parts? What did the Nazis do? What movement did they co-opt?
What do you mean? Eugenics?
They're called national what?
Socialist, but I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Is that, but like when we say the national socialist, like are we sure that's not like when you say stuff like that, there might be some translation issues.
No, literally, they were like, "Oh, people like socialism. Let's call ourselves National Socialists." That's why when Stardust says dumbass shit like civnats, that's what she's referring to.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to. I don't think the argument of like Mao was communist is legit. Like, that shit's.
I mean, yeah, obviously Mao became a dictator, but like his theory was sound. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, Mao did nothing wrong. We're literally having an argument about tankies. But, like, yeah, he wrote some base shit. He had some correct ideas about power and class.
I still have a lot of people. I hope you get a fan soon. It's ridiculous. I was fucking 80 degrees at 10 a.m. this morning in Atlanta.
The road to hell is paved in
AC,
good
if that's the
intentions.
kid.
Birds are singing, flowers are blooming.
The road to hell is paved with no AC.
It was 88 degrees in the shade yesterday in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's been insane around this area. The humidity's too much.
They mistake nuance for a no true Scotsman fallacy. Yeah, it's because they can't handle the fact that when you tell them they're not doing anti-fascism, or that being that adjacent to fascists also makes them about as useful as a fascist in the grand scheme of things politically. They just get mad.
Battle 2. Fight.
Yeah, there's custom shits in there. I don't know why they allow custom. This dude's just gonna just say
You leave me no choice.
Fight.
I need to piece you up.
with the fucking armor, bro. Nope, sir. Combo time. Sirski, eat that. Eat that. Let's go.
Battle 4. Fight.
What were you in Athens?
That dude, Briss Live or whatever, wanted to talk to me, and when I asked him what he finds more important, reaching out to neo-Nazis or protecting marginalized communities, he acted like that was like not a real choice. Like, I couldn't make him choose. And I was like, okay, well then you figure that out.
Wait, was that a protected army that you created, or he?
But no, I literally asked him, what's more important to you, protecting marginalized communities or outreach from de-radicalization? And he was like, you can do both. And all the black people in chat were like, you actually cannot. It's kind of concerning.
I mean, I think de-radicalizing is like that's an actual occupation.
For people who actually have, because we were just this is what S and I were just talking about.
I think you should have to train it.
What's that?
I think you should. I mean, it's professional, which means you need qualifications.
Yo, that's literally what we just said. Like, none of these people have any type of credentials to do this shit. They're literally just like, I saw Destiny debating with Nazis, and I'm gonna get famous like Destiny is.
Yeah, I don't think debating is a method of de-radicalization. I don't think. Actually, I can say safely that it's definitely not.
Or even if you're not debating them, just like interviewing them and letting them cook and chill and like not challenging them, just like trying to expose yourself to their community. Mythic Politics said I am on heroin. How do you even know? Did he say that when he wasn't banned, or which account did he say that from?
Mythic Politics? Who's Mythic Politics? Isn't that like the dude with the mustache?
Yeah, the dude with the mustache. That's the most notable thing about him.
He's like got a mullet and shit.
Yeah. The dude that just does like conspiracy theory YouTube and fucking memes.
Why would he say you're on heroin? Are you talking? Quit talking shit to everyone, dude. I'm gonna go on YouTube one day and literally like 7 different videos on my feed are gonna be about like you.
I mean, good. Fuck them. They're all goofy as shit. I hope they continue to do that shit because people continue to be like, damn, that person sucked, and I didn't realize it until I watched them talk to you. But a crypto DAO, that sucks, but Hassan doesn't waste his time with this shit. That's why they all hate Hassan so much. It's because Hassan shits on these people and doesn't even acknowledge them. Even if I were on heroin, that went anybody's business. I mean, facts.
I agree with that.
This is very true. You used to be in Mythic's chat regularly. Hate to see this. Mythic, well, I mean, honestly, I would have never came at Mythic if he hadn't done the N-word tower. When he decided that the N-word was a joke, that was when he got on my shit list.
Oh no, he did?
You didn't see the N-word tower that he participated in? He was the I.
Oh no, that's
He wasn't even the N. He was the I. He knew what was happening.
Yeah, you can't get away with the I.
No, that's the fucked up part. It wasn't even the one Sansa started. It was a different one.
Oh, that's yeah, that's not cool,
Tough demon, be gone.
That's not even. That's not even N-word joke. That's like just saying. That just.
It's literally just saying the N-word
is funny. Yeah. Haha, we all said the N-word. Like.
Get in the water. Fuck out of here. Get in that water.
Oh, I'm Latino. You can't just say
Fight!
You had to be in the tower. The I is probably the least offensive. No, the N would be.
The R is easily the most offensive letter. Like, clearly. Like, all other letters are pretty bad, but when you, like, you see that and you're like, let me complete real quick. Let me
finish it.
You're like, Pat, I'd like to solve.
Oh, shit. It starts out. No, dude, the I is so bad because you're making the N could be listen, because when you make the I after the N, you can decide what word it is. You can make it any other word that starts with an N, and you decide to go with the I.
I honestly, that all those people are wrong because they know what the fuck they're doing. But
you could have changed the N word. You could have been brave.
Yeah,
you could have been a hero.
You could have done anything other than R. Like,
well, I'm also talking about the I.
Yeah.
Like, because you could say, like, if somebody starts the N, you could be a hero and be like, oh, right? And you could mess up the word.
There's five opportunities to make it anything but that.
I think once you get to the first G, the opportunity's done. To be fair.
So
I mean, that's true. You have two opportunities, really.
Go ahead, ask.
Yo, so I gave up on
There's
this
Taj.
dude. He's clearly, I think he's just trying to get into our Discord.
Nope.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you can add me, and I've tried to have him add me like 50 times. He's given me some name that doesn't work. I'm like, just add me, friend me, and we can have a call. And he's like, not capable of doing it.
He's
and
trying
I just
to get on here. Yeah, I don't know why. I only have 30 viewers. Not like you're gonna get any clout, my dude. Like, if you really want to do that, just fucking.
If you want to debate somebody, you can debate me. Also, I don't have any clout, so then you can prove that you're not clout chasing.
Taj is in here. Taj wants to have a conversation.
Oh yeah, have your convo with Taj. I'm out.
Peace.
Well, you're gonna do it in your Discord, right?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that in mine. I'm jumping into my Discord now.
Are you going off, Aspen? We can still flirt.
Yeah, we can talk.
My man is horny. Terminally horny. Down horrendous. Down infinity. first G seals the deal. Facts. What up, Bird? You ain't really miss a whole lot. Hang on. I will drop the link for you in chat.
Believe in your power and reach for victory.
Why do you stand in my way? At least your stance looks good.
Battle 1. Fight!
Yeah.
Damn, fuck my shit up. Damn, this is a person who has played against Taki.
Battle 2. Fight!
I'm doing alright, Bird.
Get ready.
Bruh. Thank you for the like. Try to give him the hands.
Demon. Get ready.
Thank you for the like.
Battle 4. Fight!
I'm so fucking stupid.
Get ready.
I'm so fucking stupid.
Get ready.
Woo!
Final battle. Fight!
Ready? Cheat me. Ready? Get ready.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who
Eating too
fought
many
so
pieces
bravely.
towards the end.
You offer nothing. What a disappointment.
I'm just now reading the stuff in my chat right now. He said, Mowdy said, "I love how the Stardust crowd is coping so hard that they've unironically resorted to eating boot leather." That's honestly the most depressing part of this, is that I bullied them so hard and they're so contrarian. They're like, actually, the police are pretty cool.
Believe in your
Actually, I kind of
power
fuck with the
and
police.
reach
Maybe I
for
do like the
victory.
police. Maybe ACAB is wrong.
Why do you stand in my way?
And these are the people we're trusting to de-radicalize the neo-Nazis. By just giving them everything they want.
Fight!
what people think Satanists are like.
Battle 2. Fight.
I don't know how that happened.
Ready? Get ready. Leave this place. Ready? Get ready.
Oh my god, I should have did it overhead. Overly contrarian? Yeah.
Leave me no choice.
Fight.
Ready? Ready? Get ready. Ready? Leave this
Damn, that was close.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
My blade. I am still not skilled enough.
Thanks for the like and the share, Key. You fucking hater? Yeah. Yeah. Setsuka is fucking... I liked Setsuka in Soulcalibur 4. I don't know how I feel about her in this game.
Believe in your power and reach for victory.
At least...
Battle 1. Fight.
And it sucks when I block low and the game doesn't register. Soulcalibur 2? Soulcalibur 2 is sick. I fuck with 4 the most though.
Ready? Demons, be gone! Ready? Ready? You're mine! Stay down! Ready? Get ready! Ready? Ready?
What?
Ready?
Battle 3. Fight.
What up, Kaiser Chris Bomb?
No escape. Get ready.
I dropped that combo. That's cool. If you go into waiting, I can drag you into the...
You leave me no choice.
Fight.
As far as you go. Now stay down. Ready?
Claim victory.
Tekken Bowling was sick.
Happy to have wasted your life?
Alright, I'm gonna end this one. And then we're gonna... I'm gonna go back to the MK for a minute. But I'm gonna add We got Taj in the call now, so or in the chat. Tekken Bowling was the shit. Soulcalibur 2 was the best, but my favorite was 4, just because of the nostalgia I had attached to it. All right, there we go. You're muted, by the way, but I'm gonna run downstairs really quick and grab an Arizona. So I'll be back in a couple seconds. I'll be right back.
Do you think? Yeah. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with the gangster lean. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh my gosh, my camera's not working. Serves me right. Actually, I don't even know. I'll put my stuff right here. Boom. That way my chat sees it and no one else's. Oh, that works out. I don't even need to be on camera then. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to do breathe like this. Get myself right. Let's get right. Oh, he switched to Mortal Kombat? I feel like Mortal Kombat's harder on your brain than Wow, these are some old notes. Oh my gosh. That's for shit. Wow. I had on my notepad I had some old notes on there from like 2 years ago. Sunroof top. Chilling in the scene with a gangster lean. Woo hoo hoo.
I think didn't Deception have the kart racer? It was MK Kart Racing, Mortal Kombat Racing, or something like that. But what up? How you feeling tonight?
Doing all right. I think I'm kind of fucked up from caffeine. Like I'm like tired, but also not tired, but also tired.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't fuck myself up like that, because I was gonna drink a G Fuel at like 7:30 just so I could make it all the way through the stream tonight, and I was like, if I do that, I'm gonna be up till 2 a.m. fucking around. So let me not do that.
Yeah. See, yeah, that's just like mad unpleasant when that happens.
Yeah, hell yeah. Because you're like not even fully awake. You're just tired. You just can't sleep. You're all jittery and shit.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling. And I realized I'm turning more and more like a caffeine zombie. I get addicted to things super quickly.
Yeah,
that's why I like.
Because I was a barista for like 2 years, so there was one day I had 8 shots of espresso in one day, and I could feel my heart because we were so busy that day. I could feel my heart beating inside my chest, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm good on coffee for a while.
I'm glad you're alive, dog.
This is Taj Benjan. This is
yeah, I didn't mean to take
Bars
so
and
much of your time.
Joysticks.
Thanks for having the chat.
It's all good, bro. It's not fucking. This shit's open as long as it's cool when we click. You know what I'm saying? And especially if it's nigga time, then I don't care. It's all good.
All right, tight. Yeah, I'm gonna start things off. I don't plan on coming here with an ulterior motive or anything. I just plan on laying all the cards out for me. All right, so in my head, the way I view the world, I think that people on the progressive left, like soc Dems and Democratic Socialists and things like that, and people like further left to where you are, to the anarchists, I don't want to conflate you with an ML, like potentially MLs.
You could probably call me an ML.
Oh, really? Yeah, MLs and things like that. I feel like everybody's on the same bus, right? And I think that we're both headed towards like a left direction. Some of us want to go further left than the others do, so some of us will get off the bus at a lot easier, or a lot sooner than the rest will. But I feel like we're on the same direction, and I feel like that bus ride will be going in the right direction, as well as like a lot more amicable. Like, people are like friends with each other. At least tolerate each other, you know? Like I talked to Stardust. She was kind of like a hard cookie. I'm hoping you're an easier one.
I mean, Stardust is fucking stupid, so.
Yeah, it's not. She's really smart. Come on. No, but I think she's smart.
What makes you say that? What have you seen from her that makes you think, damn, she's actually pretty smart?
I think that she is rhetorically effective when she needs to be. I think she's pretty good at reading people. I think that... Yeah,
I feel like talking to neo-Nazis would be a time where you would want to be most on point.
I'm pulling rank.
Yeah, there have been conversations she's had where I'm not like the biggest fan of like how she engages with people. Like the conversation with Redneck is kind of disappointing. Don't tell her I said that. But
why?
But yeah, I'm trying to be friends with everybody. Alright? And this is where the main conversation lies.
Well, is it really is the person that you're trying to play on tell you where you're fucking up?
Alright, let's do this.
That's a good question. I think that how my moral like structure lies is that I think sometimes when someone fucks up, you don't tell them, and then they get better because they feel more confident. Then if you do tell someone that they're fucking up, then like they get shakier and they get like more in the feeling. It's kind of like power versus force. It's like if someone were really scared and they did something, they'd be like a big fuck up. If someone were like really passionate and they did something, they'd be less of a fuck up. But if someone were courageous or did things out of joy or out of love, or out of neutrality, they'd be even better. So sometimes it's kind of hard to tell like where you go as far as like, do I give this person feedback just yet, or do I let them get their
Damn, that's got.
I mean, there's tactful ways to tell people, like, hey, maybe we do this a different way, or like ask people what their motives are, and then ask them if what they're doing is the best strategy to accomplish that. Yo, what up, Tegma?
Damn, you brutalized the fuck out of Shorty. Gosh, dang.
But yeah, I mean, okay. So I think Stardust is probably smart. She's probably a cool person, but the neo-Nazi shit is dumb. She can't demonstrate that she's doing what she thinks she's doing. None of the studies demonstrate that what she thinks she's doing actually works. And the #1 example of that shit working that they pull out, Daryl Davis, didn't work with him either. So it's like,
I meant to watch that stream. What were your conclusions on Daryl Davis?
So I was under the impression I didn't want to go in too hard about Daryl Davis because I was under the impression we would be speaking to him yesterday, but since we're not, and I don't care.
It's the first time for everything.
Yeah, he basically
Hopefully won't be my last.
Anti-fascists did anti-fascist work, infiltrated some of the social media of these Klansmen that he said he's befriending and de-radicalizing, and they're literally just using him to sanitize that bitch. Which, you know, I'll say this. If I were trying to sanitize my image after having a lot of heat on me for having my words be directly related to more than one high-profile killing or multiple killings, you know, getting dragged in the media and shit, if I were trying to recover my image, I'd probably first rebrand, but then try to find as many people as I could talk to who would talk to me, first of all, but then also humanize me to the audience. Just saying that if that were the case with Richard Spencer, Stardust did exactly what she was supposed to do. That's where the term useful idiot comes from. Which is part of the reason why I asked, like, who on your team is actually anti-fascist and, like, dealt with fascists before? Because
I think you said there's someone on the team that talked to the Prime Minister, I'm about to say New Zealand, right? Or perhaps
yeah, where it was like, congratulations, you kept one famous neo-Nazi out of your country. But you think that kicking Nazis out of a bar is bullshit.
I don't think kicking people out of a bar is bullshit.
Not also, you, but like the people making that argument.
Like here's probably the meanest thing I'm gonna say to you. Why do you suck at selling yourself? Like you did an entire charity stream, the entire stream for Food Not Bombs, and you say you were a bouncer? No, why you talk about the fucking Food Not Bombs thing? What the fuck?
It didn't really have a whole lot to do with the topic.
That's lying.
Hold on.
You can brag about yourself more. You know?
Well, yeah, but so like,
sad.
Here's the thing. I kind of really don't want anyone from Stardust audience, like, at all. Like, really, really a lot. Like, it kind of worries me that she's put so much content out about me, like, featuring me, because I genuinely don't want anyone from her audience to... Because I'm going to have to ban them. They're going to be goofy. I'm going to have to ban them. They're going to be in here spamming honk or slurs or asking dumbass questions or talk about why we need to talk to neo-Nazis or whatever. And, like, there's too much overlap between her audience and the neo-Nazis at this point. It's just... When I'm actually... I am really bad at selling myself. I'll give you that. But, like... I wasn't trying to sell myself in that conversation with her. I was trying to make her explain that she doesn't know what she's talking about, and I feel like I did a pretty good job of that.
Okay. 1 second. Yeah, you probably know this more than I do. I think that as leftists, and I'm saying this as a liberal, like, probably the best bet for recruiting people towards the left is to grab from liberals and just bring them even further left.
You can't, though.
You don't think so?
Nah. Because, first of all, the term liberal is so broad, especially because Nazis pretend to be liberals all the time. Aston just told me in that conversation with Stardust, people confuse him for being a liberal or try to call him a liberal, and he has to say all the time that he's not a liberal. That's number one. Number two is liberals are too married to capitalism to come any further left. They haven't understood capitalism as another tool of white supremacy, so they keep running into the same wall over and over again. That's why we make fun of liberals for talking about shit like reforming the police or reforming the United States government. Because you're talking about reforming things that were designed to oppress from their inception. So the thing that you're talking about doing, best case scenario, is just straight up incrementalism. And we're supposed to watch thousands of people die in the hopes that we'll eventually get to something that our grandparents hoped would come that they never saw. Right. And that's kind of the black pill shit for me right now. What I've been dealing with is like having conversations with my grandmother and, getting to know her background and like how she fucking picked cotton from sunup to sundown and shit. And they didn't have her and her husband, like my grandfather. My grandfather thought voting was so fucking important because he was alive for when black people didn't have the right to vote. But now here we are, all these years later, and you still got niggas picking cotton from sunup to sundown in chains. And it's like, what did that really prove at the end of the day? What did that really achieve, right? Because if we're talking about the change of the material conditions of black people, that more or less came from labor. Because that's actually one of the things I'm like researching right now that I'm trying to do a video on. Was the fact that the B&O Railroad pretty much invented the black middle class, or at least what's called the black middle class, or what you would have called the middle class back then. There's actually only two classes, the capitalist class and the working class. But it drastically improved the material conditions of black people at the time because now black people could afford stuff like, indoor plumbing. But, yeah, the wall is capitalism, because you can't be anti-capitalist without being anti-racist. You can't be anti-racist without being anti-capitalist. Because, and this is why I'm going to come at, like Fabian, is because under capitalism, anything can be commodified, especially anarcho-capitalism, where there's no government regulation on any of the stuff that you can't do in capitalism. That means justice can be commodified. That means only people with capital would have access to justice. Right? So it doesn't matter what laws you put on the books about who's supposed to get what, right? It doesn't matter how free you are on paper. If you can't afford to do this shit, then how free are you? How free is a person that's on the street starving with no home to go to, no house to go to, no family, mentally ill, fucked up, addicted to heroin, right? How free is that person? It's a free country, so technically they're freer than someone living in like North Korea. But they're fucking miserable. And this is what I get at, where it's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. And it's really weird to me how people, like, especially like that last guy that was like, you could kind of say that because the colonialism happened. Now white supremacy rules the world, maybe. And it's like, my dude, if you can't say the world exists as a white supremacist institution, then you don't know what you're talking about. You're not a leftist. You're barely even a liberal, right? You are just a centrist. You're like a right winger. You're an American politically uninitiated person. You're like a high school kid who's like, I think gay marriage is cool and Medicare for all is cool. And that's about as far as you've thought about your political positions.
Damn, I don't know where to go from this one. Like I didn't want to get to like the anarchism versus capitalism thing.
We don't have to do that now.
Or liberalism rather. Shit. There's so many points I wanted to adjust because like
we don't have to get too deep into that now, but that's the difference. That's the roadblock. That's the wall. It's not that when it comes to the difference between leftists and liberals, it's not that we want to go further or whatever. It's literally capitalism. It's literally that liberals haven't figured out yet that they are also oppressed by capitalism.
Okay. I mean, I guess when you run into like a sock dem, and that's pretty much like a pretty large roadblock is the capitalism part from moving on.
Democrats.
To, like, going further left. Okay. Shit. Yeah. Well.
Because that's the other thing is that like all these modifiers and shit that we put on Democrat is like it's silly because you're still voting for the Democratic Party.
This is a whole different conversation, dog.
Facts.
Oh
yeah,
shit.
let's bring it back. We're talking about what we're talking about, like de-radicalization shit and how it's bullshit or whatever.
Yeah. I've heard that complaint about Daryl Davis in the past. I haven't looked into it too much.
Hey, little Springham's, what's up?
Yeah, I'm like Cher. I'm trying to believe in love after love. You know what I'm saying? But like, what? The thing is that like I feel like for like reform for a lot of people, and I feel like this might be a disconnect between you and her, is that I think that Star realizes that it's either violence or conversation or something like that. I think that's her dichotomy. I believe so because I think that's my dichotomy as well.
This is why I say Stardust is stupid, because define violence.
Island ruins.
Like physical violence, like shooting folks, bombing folks, poisoning motherfuckers.
The stuff they're already doing.
Yeah, but not that. Those are certain people of that side, right? And like they are doing that. Yeah.
The United States government is doing that, friend.
Yeah, but there's a difference between the United States government and like the Groypers and like the weird like pagan.
You think so?
Neo-Nazi motherfuckers. Yeah.
What's the difference?
I think that the government is like more beholden to people. I think that the government has
really
more
think so.
Control from, yeah, I think they have more control and more input from people.
How do you think the women in your crowd feel like about that right now?
The women in the crowd?
Yeah. You think the women feel like they have more control of the government right now?
They probably don't feel that way, but that's just alright. So with the Supreme Court thing, right? So these justices were picked because somebody wanted either the blue guy or the red guy. The red guy was the red guy got to choose a fuck ton of Supreme Court judges, and it was his selection. So like when he like chose these people, yeah, these are fucking crazy. Amy Coney Barrett's like part of a cult. Like,
okay.
God, like, yeah, like.
So. Did you vote in 2008, or do you remember, old enough to remember Obama, what he ran on?
Change. I didn't vote in 2008 now.
Well, I mean, that was his campaign slogan. But one of the things on his platform literally was codifying Roe v. Wade into law, and he said it wasn't a priority after he got elected.
Damn.
So this is the problem that like leftists talk about when we talk about why voting is dumb and electoralism is fucking stupid, is because the conversation about this is that you can't just do it one time and expect it to happen overnight. And it's like you're speaking to people like me who have family histories of people who've been voting for like 50, 60 fucking years. And that is what the Democrats do. That's like their job, is to remove the effectiveness
that's gotta sting.
of grassroots and populist, socialist, and like radical movements, commodify them so that capitalists can make money off of them. And then that's where they end up. That's what happened with Black Lives Matter. That's what happened with the breakfast program that the Black Panther Party came up with. That's their role. So it's like the liberals want to blame the Republicans and their action all they want. But the fact of the matter is, inaction is also action. And Democrats have had insane opportunities to fix this problem, but they're not interested in it. Why? Because if they fix the problem, why the fuck would you vote for them? If they did what they were supposed to do, then you wouldn't vote for them. Nancy Pelosi is already fucking fundraising off of this shit.
Yeah, I thought she was going to retire this run.
She will never... Oh, we thought RBG was going to retire too, but here we are.
Yeah, like, I understand that the Democrat Party, like, there'll be, like, people that are some of the best people in the world. And then there'll be some people that are just, like, kind of, like, conceited pieces of shit.
I mean, the entire Democratic Party is pretty trash, if you ask me.
Really? Yeah. Like, even people like AOC, like, the Squad.
Yep.
Study Ilhan.
Like, it's like... So when we're talking about AOC and shit, it's like, do you want... a wet dog turd or a dry one? You know what I'm saying? Like, where it's like AOC and them are cool-ish, but it's like having a nice slave master. You know what I mean? At least this slave master is nicer than the last one, and nicer than the potential next one. And that's the problem I have with liberals too. It's like, you guys don't want to not be slaves anymore. It's like, no, we just want to have a nice slave master.
I guess I don't see it that way. I think that these people are quite literally like servants of the people. Yeah, I think these people are servants of the people. They do what they find, what their constituents find popular in order to get reelected every 2 or 4 or 6 years, for the most part. Not the Supreme Court, but everyone else.
It's been a long day.
There's like data demonstrating that they don't vote with the populace wants, so they vote with what their donors want.
Okay, I have to see more on that data.
Give me a second, I can get it for you.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm in this fucking fight, but yeah, the United States government has not was really never a democracy, but it hasn't functioned the way that people think it functions since the 70s. What gets voted and codified into law largely correlates more with what corporations and big money donors want than it does with the actual constituents of the people. And this is like just a fact. This fucking Dems can legally rig primaries. Yeah, I mean Bernie Sanders, but a lot of people don't even believe that. So what can we even say?
Wait, that's more like a conspiracy. You're talking about the Warren thing?
What's that?
Or like are you talking about the Pete Buttigieg thing, or are you talking about the Warren thing?
No.
For 2020, I'm assuming you mean 2020.
2016, but they did it again in 2020.
Yeah, my memory for 2016 is kind of fuzzy. I remember specifically for 2020, like Warren literally fucked Bernie over. Like I can't deny that. Like even Donald Trump.
I mean,
like,
that's
just fucked Bernie over.
That and you can't say that Bernie wasn't the most popular candidate, but he wasn't the most popular Democratic candidate. So they're like, nah, if Bernie gets in there, he's gonna fuck our bag up. So let's get some milquetoast fucker in there, like Joe Biden, some fucking segregation. We'll get the Republican, we'll get the right winger or we'll get the candidate that Joe Biden explicitly picked to appease Republicans. We'll get him in there. This is the fucking liberal centrism that's goofy as fuck. Obama gets elected president. Motherfuckers are in the streets calling him a monkey and the Antichrist and all this shit. And he's like, what can I do to make these people happy?
Yeah, you have to get both sides of the party happy. You can't just
hey. That's not the point. They will never be happy. They will literally never be happy. That's the point. Because they don't want you in there. They want you dead.
Yeah, see, I don't believe that as well. Like, talking to conservatives, I don't think that they want black and gay people and trans people dead. I legitimately think that their moral system.
They just don't care if we die.
Yeah, I can
and that's different somehow?
Yeah, not necessarily. wanting to carry someone dies versus wanting them dead are two different things.
Okay, so
But like what I'm saying is though,
so hold on, before we continue with that, you're standing in a room with two people. One dude doesn't care if you die. The other dude is about to stab you to death. You're like, oh, one dude's cooler than the other? Like, there actually is no functional difference between somebody who wants to kill you and someone who will watch you die. And I really wish people understood this.
I mean, the functional difference is like no one's taking the affirmative action of killing me, right?
They're also not taking the affirmative action of stopping you from being killed while people are trying to kill you, Taj. How is this different?
I think that like the affirmative action of killing someone is a lot different than the affirmative action of doing
How?
not wanting to be dead.
You know, that's not true in the eyes of the law either, right? Like, there's actually a charge that you can catch if you, for example, you watch someone in a car that's about to fall off a cliff and you decide not to act and they can prove that you can save them. This is why EMTs have licensure and shit. Like, when I got training for an EMT, they explicitly told me that when I got that card, and if someone, for example, needed the Heimlich maneuver, and someone could tell that I was there and could help and didn't, I would be liable for suing, obviously. But yeah, they could also charge me. So like,
Damn, that's gotta sting.
Jax wins.
the fact that the person is not taking initiative to kill you is not going to change the fact that the end result of that is you being dead. So when you say that there's a difference, you sound silly, and I need for you to understand that.
There is a quantifiable difference. Like, for example, like, all right, say you just cut these two people, right? Would you rather be in the room with the person that only it's just you and them, right? Person A wants to kill you. They want to actively kill you. Person B doesn't care if you live or die. You can have a heart attack in front of them.
Okay, are you saying 100% of the people in America don't care if black people live or die? None of them want to kill black people.
I'm not saying that.
Okay, so why are we doing this weird hypothetical?
Yeah, so we're going. All right, so we're going against the liberals versus conservatives, right? You're saying that like conservatives actively want people dead. I'm saying that it's a little bit more nuanced than that. Some people literally have like moral structures where they just don't necessarily give a shit about their fellow man. It's not the same as wanting them dead. And
it is when they vote and exist side by side with people who do want you dead, Taj. Like, I truly don't get it. Like, hey, those dudes are kind of sort of okay because they just stood there and watched and giggled while the other people fucking lynched me. Like, do you understand how silly that sounds?
I don't think it's that blatant for people. I'm just not sure. I honest to God don't think it's that blatant. Like, for example, when people like talk about oh yeah this trans shit's like kind of bad, but I want my gas prices lower, and they legitimately believe that conservatives can lower the gas prices or some dumb shit like that. Like, I don't think they're like, oh,
they're voting for the same people who want to kill trans people, dog. Like, what the fuck is this take? I truly don't understand.
These people are these people are rooting for like lower gas prices, and like some issue that's not relevant to their lives is secondary. Like, if we operate with this system, then I can say, oh shit, well, like this person doesn't want to like feed every starving person in a different continent, so I'm actively a part of this person dying in a different continent. I don't think it like how many degrees of separation. You literally are. If you have the capability to help, then you are responsible. And if you don't, you are culpable. Damn. This is basic shit. I like to think that this is like a lot of different like degrees of separation. So you're saying that we're all culpable in some way of some person in like France fucking dying of starvation because we should have like had made some sort of super pot to like fucking like feed every person in France. Unironically, yes.
Round one, fight.
Like, there's obviously levels depending on class and your level of access to capital and that sort of thing. But, like, yes. The United States as a nation is responsible for a lot of fucking hungry people around the world, unironically. And a lot of people will vote for that and not care. So they're responsible, yes. So what does it mean if you don't vote? And, like, you just let whatever party of the two parties do? Like, are we still responsible for these things? No. How do we resolve the responsibility by not voting? Because I have no power. Okay, so say if I voted Democrat, I'd be like
playing a part in like some of that shit happening, that can show you that Democrats don't like take enough action to stop. And what you're saying is that if I didn't vote, then I no longer am culpable.
Hold on, hang on. This fucking.
Did I misunderstand? I might have misunderstood that.
Round 2.
I'm in the middle of this fight. Give me a second.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So, why did you do that?
Like he's on black.
He armored broke. I could have comboed you. You just uppercut him. Fuck. Why is my controller like this? You can't vote third because third's not going to win. Third's a waste of vote, and people will tell you that. They want you to vote Democrat.
Yeah, I do think that like voting third party outside of like local elections, like say like in certain districts.
You can vote third party in a local election, yeah, and maybe the people who actually win will pick up their platform. But other than that, it's pretty fucking meaningless. Like if I vote VSA in my local election, it's not gonna pick up. But that's the only. That's unfortunately the only fucking shits that I would really vote for, or like PSL. Like,
PSL's interesting. They're nice people, the ones who or I only know the St. Pete PSL, there's no Orlando PSL.
I'm just gonna quit this game so I can actually have this conversation. So when we're talking about culpability or responsibility, when you take positive actions, so there's two. So inaction can also be action, right? I'm just gonna forfeit this set.
Yeah.
So
you can forfeit your dice roll.
If you have power, then yeah. But it's like not even a dice roll when you understand that the Republicans aren't winning because they're playing the game. They're winning because they designed the game and own the table, right? So like we had to fight for our right to even be able to vote. Women had to fight for our right to be able to vote, right? We understand that the game was rigged from the onset. So like we also understand that the powers that be are clever enough to make sure that like, because that is the game of capitalism, right? Is that you acquire and accrue capital and you use that capital to protect the capital you have and acquire more. That's literally it. It's the number one goal, infinite growth. So like when you're talking about people who own capital, then yeah, they're pretty directly responsible for a lot of the ways that the shit is fucked up right now. Because, so here's how I see it. Like, when it comes to just in general and my own personal frustrations, I feel like people are pretty culpable for how fucked up the world is, in a sense that if we all were putting in the right kind of effort, it would be over by now, right? If we were all doing food not bombs, if we were all building dual power and that sort of thing, then we kind of wouldn't really need the United States government because we would have our own thing built. And that would obviously need to be defended because of how the United States government operates. But when you're talking about people who just simply vote for white supremacists, even though they themselves might not necessarily be white supremacists, it doesn't fucking matter because white supremacy is the status quo, and you don't necessarily need to be aware of that to perform that particular thing. Just like as a man, you don't need to be aware that you fucking don't see women as human to like know what misogyny is. So that Kobold Gaming just sent me a phone call. Oh, that was the guy that I just faced. So
yeah, I see what you're. I understand what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from. And I know that it's fucking frustrating as shit. Where like
it's just because I genuinely don't understand. Like this is like under any other normal circumstance, when I tell someone that the person who just stands there and watched the other person strangle you is just as bad as the person who strangled you, they're like, yeah, of course, obviously. But you're like, actually...
Yeah, no, one person's like demonstrably worse than the other.
How?
All right, we're looping. I don't mean to loop, but what I'm saying is that the person that watches you get strangled versus the person actively strangling you, you'd be a lot safer without the person that is strangling you. Versus
But that's a hypothetical. That doesn't have anything to do with the situation we're in now. There are people who want to kill us, and there are people who are enabling the people who want to kill us. So that's the status quo. So for you to pretend like we don't live in a society that's actively trying to kill us is just fucking, I don't know what to call that, my dude. I'm trying to go easy, but like, you have your head in the sand. We live in a white supremacist society. There are white supremacists out there in government, in the police, in the military, right? And you're telling me that some fucking teenage 4chaner is cool because he supports that shit, but he's never actually killed a black person himself? You understand how silly that is?
I mean, supporting that versus like not lifting a finger to stop it are different things.
What?
Like if someone just, yeah, like I'll co-sign that. Yeah. All right. So say if some 4chaner was like, yeah, I know all this bad shit's happening. I'm distinctly aware of this bad shit happening, but I'm not doing anything. I'm not lifting a fucking finger to change shit except making a few memes on Twitter that my buddies on 4chan and Reddit are gonna look at. Like that's not as bad as the person actively doing something.
Start it from the beginning. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the memer kid on 4chan that is distinctly aware, like say they have like a college grad's level of awareness of bad shit happening, not lifting a finger to stop it, and just chilling knowing that this bad shit's happening in the world. That doesn't make them as guilty or as dangerous as the person that's actively doing the bad shit.
What? How? They're directly related and moving in the same political direction.
I'm trying to dissect why you think they're directly related and directly as bad.
Because they literally both vote for the same political party. What kind of question? Where are we even going with this right now?
Okay, so the people that are actively doing the bad thing, like, and the person that's like not doing the bad thing, but it's just like, okay, I'm distinctly aware this is bad, but I'm not going to lift a finger to stop it. Like, I think that the person that's not doing a bad thing, but not lifting a finger to stop it, I feel like that person can be brought on to a more like positive direction, as you will.
How? If they literally watch people get murdered and they're like, I don't have the empathy for this. How are you going to teach them empathy as a part of the class that they don't care gets killed? You have no answer to that because it doesn't work that way.
I think changing their buy-in. I think by upping their...
So the Stardust argument. How do you change their mind?
I guess by educating them, making them more familiarized with other groups.
How do you educate them when their entire life is a positive feedback loop for shit that they already do? You understand white supremacy is like white privilege. When you're trying to quote unquote de-radicalize people, you have to give them something that is more valuable to them than what the benefits that they think they get from white supremacy are and white privilege. This is why only experts do this shit, because it takes time and it happens in private. And it doesn't happen just because you let the Nazis sit at the table with you until they eventually change their mind about wanting to kill you or not caring that someone else wants to kill you from their group.
I think that having an open... Look, I don't... Because, see, if you say I'm, like, doing the Stardust argument, then I have to,
You
like...
literally
also,
are.
I also, at the same time, I feel you're going to make me, like, bite the bullet of, like, co-signing certain things that she's done that I don't necessarily agree with.
No, I'm not going to make
But,
you
like,
bite the bullet, but if you're making the same arguments that we've literally spent the last 5 days debunking, then, like, why would you do that?
Okay, I'm not gonna. There's certain things that I do co-sign, and there's certain things I don't co-sign.
Okay, what do you co-sign?
All right, I co-sign the idea of like making people familiar, or like being that person that someone can be like, oh, this is a real life person I can talk to.
The token.
Yo,
Yo, Taj, I got a question for you, homie.
Yeah, sure.
And please don't pussyfoot around this, all right?
I'll try to
So,
bite whatever bullet or like answer honestly as much as I can.
okay, so
Even if it's like a life-ending question, holy shit.
okay, so let's say there's two people in a room, right? And one of them is beating your mom senseless with a shovel, right? And the other guy is literally the same size, if not bigger, than the guy who's beating your mom upside the head with a shovel. Is that guy just as much at fault for not stopping the guy who's actively beating your mom upside the head? Or would you say that guy would you say he's still not as bad for letting it happen?
He's not as bad for letting it happen.
This is the weirdest shit, bro. We already talked about this.
Yeah,
he's like, I don't know why he believes that, but he does.
I'd be way madder if the guy beating my mom in the head with a fucking shovel versus the guy not doing anything. Like if the guy's being like a complete pussy about it,
okay,
like a complete man bitch about it.
Jesus,
then, like, that'd be,
it is.
So like,
I'd be much mad at the dude that's beating her.
So you'd be more satisfied that your mom is dead because one person didn't actually participate in it.
Not satisfied at all. Not satisfied at all. I'd still be fucking mad at both people, but I'd be much more mad at the person doing the beating.
Holy shit.
Like, if I had one bullet and a choice to shoot either one of them, would you shoot the guy that didn't do anything, or would you shoot the guy that beat your mom with a shovel?
Holy shit, bro.
No, for real. Like, real question. Can you answer that one for me? So would you rather
I'm just looking at Endless, and it's like I'm
back. I'm back. I'm gonna ask you two questions, and then this conversation.
Shoot the coward or the murderer?
I'm gonna ask you two questions. Two important questions that are gonna dictate how this moves.
Right after I answer this one, all right?
What was your question? You can go first.
Yeah. So the person earlier that had the shovel analogy, I asked them if you had you have a bullet, right? And one gun, one bullet. And you're a great marksman. And you have the choice to shoot the guy who did nothing, the coward, or the guy that actively beat your mother with a shovel. Are they equally shootable, or which one's more shootable?
It doesn't matter because my mother's already dead. That's the point.
All right, you have to answer this, or else like a squad of people busting.
We don't have to answer. You're answering the question with another question.
Yeah, I'm testing your logic right now. I'm testing like your valuation.
What
system.
logic?
In my valuation system, how I rationalize this, I'm saying that the person that actively does the beating is more at fault than the person that just bit.
Are you saying okay? So do you think the more important part of it is your mother's death, or who is at fault for your mother's death?
After the death. The death is the most important, but who's at fault for the death too?
Right. Okay, they both are because they both participated in it.
That is just what the fuck? What the fuck? This is just an insane fucking. How are you?
You're saying that the person he's literally an accomplice. The person that stands there and watch you get murdered is an accomplice to murder. Like you're the only person with busted logic in here. You're literally trying to weasel and do this because you want to be friends with Stardust. That's it. You're trying to say that the person who stands there and watches and giggled as your mother gets stabbed to death is somehow better than the person who actually stabbed your mother because he didn't physically hold the knife.
Yes. Even in the court of law, it plays out that way, where the valuation of culpability goes to the person that's holding the knife and doing the stabbing, or doing the beating with a shovel.
They would get the same charges, friend. They would get the same charges.
Who would get a harder sentence?
Why does that matter?
But you're
like, why does that matter? You're like, your mom got beat upside the head with a shovel. Why does it matter? Like, who gets the bigger sentence?
Okay, because they would get the bigger sentence. No, yes, we're using this analogy because you're missing the point of the analogy. The point of the analogy is that both people will result in your mother being dead. And your weasel way around it is to be like, well, if the person actually killing her wasn't there, then it would be fine. And number one, that's not the analogy. Number two, there are no people who don't want to kill us in America.
Wait,
So
my response to that one was that the person doing the stabbing is worse than the person just laughing. They can even giggle. They can put it on World Star, and they'd still be less guilty than the person stabbing her.
How, when they literally participated at that point?
But who's doing the worst part of participation?
okay, so let's go with this. There is one party that is more culpable, more extreme, and one party less extreme. Let's apply that to white supremacy. So there's moderate white supremacists.
This is going back to the Democrat-Republican thing now, right?
No,
So the
no. This is your analogy. You said that there are people who vote Republican or people who vote alongside white supremacists who might not actively want to see black people die. This is how we even got to this analogy in the first place.
Yeah, their reasoning for doing such things aren't because of the white supremacists. It's for other things. Like maybe they're pro-life. Maybe they're just like have some weird belief about taxation.
Friend, I don't give a fuck about that because the end result is still my death, whether they intend for it or not. I'm supposed to be comfortable on the other side. Like, well, they killed me, but at least they didn't mean to. They fucking genocided my whole family, but at least it was because they were just trying to get the oil out the ground from underneath their house. You understand how silly that sounds?
I see what you're saying. I think it's for their perceived like moral framework and their perceived survival.
Yes, as white people. As the people who have the power under the system of white supremacy, friend. That's why black people don't vote Republican typically. It's because Republicans are white supremacists.
I think some people vote Republican are legitimately not white supremacists. Like some of them,
and they vote with white supremacists, dog. That's why we're going in another circle.
They do vote with white supremacists, but I don't think that makes them a white supremacist.
And why should Why should I care when they're literally enabling white supremacists, whether they know it or not?
Because some people are winnable. Some people are completely winnable.
You're talking about Taj. You're literally saying they don't give a fuck about whether I live or die, and you think I can win them? You understand how silly that sounds?
And on top of that, on top of that, you know, you can morally not be a white supremacist and at the same time systemically be a white supremacist. That is a thing.
I could pay lip service to feminism and still be a raging fucking misogynist. That is also a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it seems like you guys are moving the dynamic quite a bit. So on one level,
we're literally not.
Okay, so now in order to bring more clarity and more nuance to this, to save my bacon,
there's really no nuance here.
I have to say that Republicans they're not all white supremacists. Some of them aren't aware of it being of the Republican Party being like.
And they support white supremacists who want to kill us.
But they're not.
And you're telling me that we can win them by question marks when they already don't care if we live or die.
You have to increase their buy-in for the Dems. Yeah, you have to increase their buy-in for progressive causes.
No. You have to give them something that they find more valuable than what they receive.
Yes.
And you already said they don't give a fuck if we live or die. So what the fuck am I going to do to make my life valuable to someone who literally votes for white supremacists?
All right, so this is why I'm saying that we're hopping lenses right now. So,
we really are not. This is a direct line of questioning. You're saying that not all people who vote Republican are white supremacists. I'm saying it doesn't fucking matter because the end result of their ideology is my death, regardless of what their goal is. Your retort to that is, well, we can win them because they're not active white supremacists. And I'm asking you, how do you win people who do not value your life?
By increasing their buy-in. For example, for like
increasing their buy-in?
What?
Yes. Yeah. Their emotional buy-in to progress. Their emotional buy-in to the Democrat Party.
How?
Their emotional buy-in to the well-being of minorities within
their emotional buy-in is conservatism, friend. The whole point of their entire ideology is to keep things the same. That's why the fuck they don't give a fuck if you live or die.
Right. I feel like you've met so many conservatives in your life, and I feel like you know their motivations more than what you're displaying right now. What I'm saying is that their belief system is based off of where...
I know their motivations because... Let me explain something to you. Okay? Because I don't know if this was made clear at the beginning of our conversation. I'm one generation from at least 3 straight fucking generations of slavery. When I tell you I know what white people want and what white supremacists are and what conservatives want, they want to fuck us, they want to kill us, and they want to eat us. in that order. Some are nicer about it than others, but that is it. They do not see us as equal citizens. Some of them barely even see us as human. This is why when I tell you you're being fucking silly is why you should listen to me. Is because just because they don't say the N-word in front of you doesn't mean they wouldn't stand there and watch someone who is close to them that does beat the fuck out of you until you are dead. Dog is man's best friend. That does not mean that man doesn't view himself as a superior animal. And I said the same thing to Stardust, and she didn't get it either because she was too concerned about being liked by everybody than understanding that this system that you're trying to challenge is older than you, older than your mother, older than your grandparents, older than your great-grandparents. And they all had their lives fucking risked by it. So when you hop on this fucking platform and say we can win them by increasing their buy-in and humanizing ourselves to them, they have been through generations, and I mean generations, of dehumanization of us. You know how we have generational trauma? Guess what the fuck they have? Guess what they have? You seen the pictures of little kids laughing and playing at lynchings on the postcards? You understand what that does to a person? Especially generation after generation after generation? You're telling me a person who had kids at the lynching is eventually one day going to be like, actually, let me start voting Democrat because today I care about gay people. I know I just laughed at a lynching 2 weeks ago.
You and I both agree that they're savable.
What's that?
You and I both agree that they can be changed. They can have entire dynamic and entire paradigm shifts as far as
some of them, but not all of them.
Bro, you literally said in the Stardust debate, you said, I'm an anarchist, Stardust. I believe everybody can be redeemed.
I don't believe in irredeemable. Yes, I said that.
Yeah, you don't believe in irredeemable people. Yeah, that's what you said. Thank
right.
you.
But we don't have the time, the power, or the resources to redeem these people. And pretending like we do is fucking foolish. And it's going to get you exactly what Stardust has. You're going to have a chat full of fucking Nazis and be like, but I thought you guys were cool. Because you have no power to play with these people. You have nothing to offer them. You have nothing to give them. And you have nothing to force them to do anything with. The only thing you have is their word. And they will lie to you. Their entire ideology is based on lie.
Can I ask you something that you don't have to answer if you don't want to? How were you 15 years ago?
How was I 15 years ago?
Yeah, how were you a lot more to the right 15 years ago as far as where you are now?
Not a lot, but I was probably less educated because I just hadn't read as much theory. But
true, but there's an emotional buy-in to it as well. So let me ask you something.
Fam, hold on, stop. Wait a minute. Are you asking me this because you genuinely think that just given enough time, people will stop being white supremacists when there are literally entire towns dedicated to upholding white supremacy in this country? That's what you're asking me right now?
I'm asking you. Yeah, I'm asking for your personal journey. Let me finish the question.
Okay, wait a minute. Stop, dude. Do you think that me being a black man in America would have anything to do with my journey politically? Or do you think that all people, regardless of their color, just engage with this power structure the same way?
I think that you would have a greater deal of lived experience as a black person, yeah.
Okay, so knowing that, what the fuck are you going to tell a white man whose literally entire life, his career, his family, all of his friend group is set, and they're all, at the very least, people who don't give a fuck about white supremacists? You're going to cry, and that's just going to make him not give a fuck about the entire life that he's built, that his grandparents built for him?
See, and this question is this question is really weird to me because you're asking a black person what their political leanings were, 15 or 16 years ago, right?
Yeah, let me finish the question, please.
Okay, what's the question then?
All right, excellent. All right, so 15 years ago, all right, 13 now, so I imagine you're 17 or some shit.
Okay.
Have you met it? All right, when was the first time you met a trans person? Were you in your 20s or as a teenager or I just want to know.
Fam, as a child, I live in, do you know where I live?
Maryland?
I live in Baltimore, Maryland, yes. I met my first trans person. There was a trans woman on the radio, Miss Tony. I probably heard my first trans woman's voice when I was fucking 6, 7 years old, right? And if you're asking me what my position was on trans people, I always thought that they were acceptable because, see, niggas, we have this thing where we mind our fucking business, right? So,
okay, I grew up in a completely different part of the country. Then I don't think I don't think I met a trans person until my early 20s.
Baltimore is like one of the capitals in the country. It's like Baltimore, Atlanta. It's like queer capital of the fucking country. It's like San Francisco.
I did not know that. Oh, what the fuck? I didn't know. That's cool. All right, so sorry, I grew up in like Orlando, Florida, born and raised. That's the South. It's like right on the
Deep
booty
South,
of the Bible,
yes.
of the Bible Belt, right? So I didn't see a trans person until my 20s. I don't think I saw a trans person at all. Till my fucking 20s. And I was a lot more transphobic when I was like 20, 21, 22. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm 28 right now.
Right.
2 years ago, I went to one of the BLM movement, not the org movement uprisings in Orlando, and I saw a lot of trans flags and like a lot of trans people were out there in support of Black lives. And then at that moment, I was like, oh shit, these are the homies.
Right. So
I didn't realize that. Like the
buy-in
for trans rights and trans liberation like increased exponentially.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying, okay, I used to call people the T slur, then someone called me that.
I didn't go that far.
I'm hypothetically like stretching, right? Someone, not you, someone uses the T slur, then they're called the N slur, and they're like, damn, that doesn't feel good. Maybe I should start thinking about how I feel about trans people, right? That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Okay, when does that moment come for white men who are literally at the top of the power structure and have zero people to come and call them any slurs? When does that happen for them?
I think that when they become more familiar with people of color and marginalized groups, then their emotional buy-in for those marginalized groups will change.
When has that been the case? Because the only time that they became more familiar with indigenous people and marginalized groups, they decided to put us in chains and cut our hands off and shit. So I'm waiting for this to happen. You keep saying it like it means anything to me, as if white people don't live completely fucking surrounded by us all the time, as if they didn't go out of their way to keep us separate from their lives. Just by knowing that we exist, that will somehow Grinch empathy into their heart.
I think that knowing that we exist, knowing like having community members that are familiar to them will change their views on Black people.
How come it didn't do that for Thomas Jefferson?
He saw them as property.
And what do white supremacists see us as?
And once again, there were founders that were anti-slavery, but they made that compromise just to get the Constitution
right
and finalized.
Because they benefited from that system.
Yeah, they did.
And they went along with it. It didn't give a fuck what they were anti, because they stood there and ratified a constitution with whole ass slaves. Correct?
They did.
Okay.
A lot of them had slaves.
Okay, then. So when you tell me that our proximity, or them knowing that we exist, or having members of us in their community, will somehow change their hearts, they've had 600 fucking years to do that, and it ain't happened yet. So what's the timetable on that, Taj? Because the only thing I've seen is them cutting our hands off, eating us, fucking us, burning us alive, sterilizing us, doing experiments on our children. They did all that shit when we were living right next to them. So you think their kids are going to be better just because they said so and we hope so?
I think that this is like a back and forth of progress that we're living in. And
how
America really is an experiment, and I think it's an experiment that's worth like completing to.
America is a colony. That's what it is. It's not an experiment. It's a colony. There were people here that are gone now for the most part. And there are people who were not supposed to be here that are here now because they were brought here against their will.
Mm-hmm.
America's a colony. And that's what the police are, as an occupying military force to uphold colonial power.
It's literally what the flag's designed after too.
The 13 colonies, because the United States of America is a colony. Have you read any Frantz Fanon, just out of curiosity?
Frantz Fanon, I've heard the name, but I've read none of it.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, what's Frantz Fanon saying now? What's their main?
He talks about in the book Black Skin, White Masks about how colonized people will take on the social and emotional qualities of their oppressor, and there creates a cognitive dissonance when colonized people try to act like colonists or settlers, and the settlers and colonists remind them who and what they actually are.
Isn't that every person of color in the United States?
No, not every.
We take on qualities of our oppressor, right? So you're speaking English for what reason?
Right. Yeah, because the United States of America is a colony.
Okay. So here's the thing, though. If we can't change people's minds through education and familiarity, which honest to God, there's actually, you know what? Nah, fuck that question. Fuck that question. I'll get there later. I'm gonna list off a few events, right? And I want you to tell me if you think that they had black friends growing up, if they were close to black people and familiar with black people growing up, or not. So first person is the guy from Buffalo, New York, the top grocery shooter. Do you think he had black friends growing up? Do you think he felt comfortable around black people, or did they feel like a huge anomaly to him, like they were not that, they were unfamiliar to him?
Fam, you're telling me he lived in New York and never encountered a single black person?
I heard upstate New York's kind of white. Let me see where he's from. Just to be completely fair.
You do realize that they used to literally make us raise their children, right? They used to have us give their kids breast milk and shit. I don't understand at what point. This is why I keep saying this shit. We have done literally everything. We have given them literally everything. Everything. We've given them our blood, our breast milk, our children. We have given them everything. So what do we give them, and how long does it take for them to come around? Because, as stated previously, they brought us here in the 1600s, and they've had that long to figure it the fuck out, and haven't. So what do we have now? The internet? We have porn. We got Pornhub. Pornhub is going to make white people stop fucking killing black people. That's what we got going on?
No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that, if you have people in, Alright, so the general idea is what I'm saying is that, multiracial communities generally tend to be less racist than,
Taj,
that are,
Taj, multiracial communities have always fucking existed.
Okay. But is there more racism in, what's the right word for,
There is no more or less racism now. It's just different.
I don't know about that, man. I think there's a lot less racism now than 100 years ago.
How?
I'm sorry. I gotta end this call. I gotta end this conversation.
Wait,
I gotta tag out.
All right, man. I didn't mean to be exhausting or anything. I appreciate you for your time. Yeah. Until next time. Wait, one last question, and this might be the one that pisses you off to eternity and beyond. Is there anything? I cannot hear you. What?
You were muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. One final question before I get out of here, and I asked Stardust this question too, and I'm hopefully you're easier to get a good response from with this one. Is there anything that someone like Stardust can do to get back in you and Aston's good graces? I think the bus moves faster towards the left, when people that are liberals and people that are leftists ride on it and are at least comfortable with each other. Maybe disagreements.
Leftists and liberals don't have the same goals, and I really wish you guys understood that.
I mean, we want less racial disparity. We want less.
You want less racial disparity, but you still want capitalism.
Yeah, less economic inequality.
How do you do that?
people
there's
are
always
housed.
How do you
realize
fix?
capitalism is fueled by economic inequality. You
Right.
realize this, right?
Yeah. How do you fix that?
People that are like housed more, people that have more access to healthcare, preventative and dental and vision and fucking like mental health shit, and people that like
So redistribution of wealth.
yeah,
That is not capitalism.
right. So I'm what you call like a social democrat. I'm like the last stop.
I know you're pretty
like-
confused.
No, I'm the last stop in capitalism before it turns into like more of a socialist system. So I'm someone that I'm pro union.
Stop. Socialism and capitalism are not the same. You can have certain socialist programs in capitalism, but you cannot have socialistic capitalism. It's not a gradient. It's like apples and oranges. You either
you
have
don't see it as a
socialism.
gradient.
No, you either have socialism or you have capitalism.
Okay, I see it as a complete gradient, where like you go like left enough, then boom, you're in socialism.
I mean,
So
yeah,
now I've
we've established that you're pretty confused.
Yeah, so what do you think democratic socialism is? What do you think market socialism is?
Liberalism.
Liberal? Oh shit, damn, that's a spicy take.
How?
I'm sorry.
a lot of-
So democratic socialism, if we're talking about democratic socialism, there are no democratic socialist parties in America. There's like the PSL, maybe the DSA, and maybe like the Workers' World Party or some other fucking
Yeah,
nutso
are they
tanky shit
liberal
like that.
capitalists to you, or like what are they? To you?
They're socialist and communist, but like, how much power do they have in the United States of America? Do they have?
growing, like,
Who has the
DSA
most
back
power?
then, it's-
Do you think they could challenge Wall Street even if they got the same amount of power that the Democrats had?
Do you think DSA could?
I'm
They'd
asking
have more
you.
incentive to.
I'm
If they had
asking
the
you.
Yeah, if DSA had the same power as the Democratic Party, do you think the DSA would be more effective at combating Wall Street? Hell yeah. I think that the Democratic Party is like a very wide umbrella, right? There are people like Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, and there are people like AOC, like Rashida Tlaib, Rashida Tlaib, people like Raphael Warnock and shit, Bernie Sanders.
They're all capitalists except for Bernie Sanders, kind of, but
Yeah, so it's a wide range of people. So if we had the DSA,
and they're all capitalists, bro. Like,
yeah. Okay, so if we had the DSA that had the same amount of power as the Dems, I think
you
Wall Street would
understand
have a
that
much
capitalism is a white supremacist like organization of the economy, right?
I don't agree with that necessarily. No.
Why?
I think that capitalism, based on capital, based on yeah, you don't need race to have capitalism.
What you need? Okay, hang on. Wait, Maldy. Before you go, because I need him to understand something. But you need different classes to have capitalism. Yes.
Yes, and you're about to say that race is a class, right?
It is.
Okay.
So how do you fix that?
How do I fix racism? More familiarity. I'm someone that believes in like a brownie.
More familiar than the 600 plus years they've had with us.
And there's been a lot of change in those 600 years. Yeah.
What change?
People, all right. People aren't like born into slavery anymore.
How?
Legally. No, people literally aren't born into slavery anymore.
Not literally on paper, but there's people who there. We do have a school to prison pipeline, do we not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Schools, prison. That can be fixed under capitalism, though. That's what I'm saying.
All right, dog. I'm gonna talk to you later. It was good talking to you.
Always a pleasure, man. Taj Ben John.
I'm out of there. That dude is a jackass. It's cool that we have a lower class as long as it's not all black people. This is you guys' fault. Because I just wanted to play video games and fucking read theory and do essays. And y'all said you need to fucking start debating these people and shit again. Social Democrat. Thank you, Lil Springham's. I'm gonna keep doing it. If you say I do a good job, I'm gonna keep doing it. Just know that this shit is causing me actual physical fucking pain. Motherfuckers just can't let go of the whole. They just don't know the real us. Motherfucker, they've had 600 years to get fucking used to us and develop empathy for us. The whole point is that they refuse to. That's what white supremacy is.
Time's up, punk.
Round 2. Fight. Finish him.
What up, Omega Shenron Dragon? There's some new people in chat. I haven't been paying attention to chat. Sorry. What up, Salvoon? Just show him some BLM posters. Problem solved? Yeah. What up, Morpheus? Fuck the founders? Yes. What up, Some Dumb? What up, Wolf? What up, Rye? Market socialism is not liberalism. You're correct. I thought he said social democracy.
Scorpion. Kotal's Coliseum.
You're right, Rye. I misspoke there. I thought he was talking about social democracy, not democratic socialism. Which is the fucking dumbest name for anything. Democratic socialism. It's like consensual sex. Or ethical non-monogamy. It's a fam. You don't need that first word. We know what it is. Because if it wasn't that, it wouldn't be that. If the sex is not consensual, it's not sex.
Her enemies will become ours.
Round 1. Fight.
If the socialism is not democratic, it's not socialism. You seriously thought he'd have a change of heart with the shovel analogy, but no, this dude was like, fuck you, mom, I'm gonna die on this hill. It's just so weird, bro, where it's like, yeah, the person who bought tickets to the lynching is better than the person who hangs the person. Sounds like the performance art that neolibs do. He doesn't understand. Like, he just straight up doesn't understand that capitalism is exploitative and that under the current system in the future, like, he genuinely believes, ask him, he genuinely believes that if you just spend enough time being cool to white supremacists or white supremacist adjacent people, they will challenge their white supremacist bosses, lawyers, loan officers. It's fucking stupid. I'm gonna throw my whole career away and challenge my employer who says the N-word just because I met this black dude on Twitch and BLM now. he still got his head cooked by capitalism. I could tell because he couldn't even remember what Barack Obama's one of his platforms was. Because this is the other thing I ask people all the time about the whole Democrat thing. It's like, fam, you do know that Barack Obama literally ran on codifying Roe v. Wade into law. And then once he got elected and he had what he wanted and he could do favors and stuff for his donors, what did he say? No, it's not a priority. I know you literally voted for me specifically to do this, but nah, maybe we'll get to it. I gotta take care of the Wall Street people first. Then we can do civil rights. People are only racist because they've never seen black people. There wasn't like a whole system where white people literally owned black people and like made them shave them and give breast milk to their kids and shit like that. I think that was like in The Handmaid's Tale or some shit like that. That was purely fictional. What up, Buddyhead? Buddyhead! Buddyhead followed me.
Round 2, fight.
Stockholm Syndrome, make it capitalism? Yes. Bonk, 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 bonk. You see how sweaty I'm getting? Oh. Wait, what's that? My man, wake up buttons. What's that? Be humble. Thank you for the chat, Buddyhead. Helter Skelter. I enjoy your Instagram.
Alright, let's do this. Final round.
Right, Shenron. I fucking shouldn't have pressed buttons right there. Oh my god.
Finish him. Liu Kang wins.
Yo, Mads of BBL, if you still want to come in and talk, hold on, I'm gonna start I'm a voice. Oh wait, never mind, that's him. My bad. I didn't realize you were still trying to get in on that. I think I'm good on calls for tonight, bro. I think I'm good on calls for tonight, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Round 1, fight.
I'm a Dragon Ball fan. Of course I get your name right. What?
My training serves me well.
Tegma TV.
Fight.
He's not goofy. I just don't. I don't want to do. Right now, I just want to relax and play more.
Retreat's your best option.
Unable to think.
Fight.
He's mad. He thinks capitalism can be woke. Yeah, he sees the fucking, he sees the Raytheon pride flags and he's like, damn, that's based. That's based. That's the future I want. He sees the black light. He sees the fucking Huey Newton skins on Call of Duty and he's like, yeah, that's the future I want. The black people that work in that fucking studio are exploited the shit, working crunch, working fucking 8 hour, 12 hour, 8 days, working 12 hours, 8 days a week, or 12 hours, 6 days a week, you feel me? But, you know.
Round one, fight.
At least they put fucking Black Lives Matter on the building. I have a dream.
Time's up, punk.
Round two, fight.
Sir.
Brutality.
I don't give a fuck about Stardust's good graces.
Jax wins.
I can't really think of any circumstance where I would like want to be cool with Stardust. Maybe if she's like different in real life or something, and we could just like grab a bite to eat or something. But like, I'm still gonna have to reconcile that with the fact that she just casually fucking interviews neo-Nazis and doesn't challenge them. And has this fucking bird brain idea that the only reason why white people are racist is because they just don't know any people of color. As if they haven't traveled the entire fucking world killing people that look like us for spice and gold. Spice that they don't even put in their fucking food. He's talking to Star Sus right now? Of course he is. Yes, the South. I'm just like, fam. I really wish, I don't know. What is he, like 24?
Frost.
I fucking hate Frost.
Jax. Deadpool.
I was like him when I was like 9. I knew what it was with racism when I was like 13. I was like, oh, these white people don't give a fuck. These white people don't give a fuck. They got a whole entire separate world that they live in. Yeah, I grew up around other white people. Did he just not grow up around other white people? This is the South. Maryland is the South. I was also a fly in the milk. I'm from Baltimore County, Maryland. Maryland was south of the Mason-Dixon line. It was literally a slave breeding state. And I grew up in a predominantly white town. So I had the same upbringing. That's like, we had 2 different outcomes from our I saw all the white people around me that didn't give a fuck about me, and I was like, damn, this is crazy. I should probably stay away from them. He saw all the white people around him that didn't give a fuck about him to try and kill him and shit. It was like, damn, this is crazy. Let me fuck with them some more. Maybe they'll like me. Maybe they'll start seeing me as human if I just like, fucking play Pokemon cards with them or something. Like their grandfather didn't own whole ass people in his house that he paid for and talked to every day to make him pick that fucking cotton. Tokenize himself to survive, and see, I get that and I understand that. Completely understand that. I just wish that we could be honest about that when that comes up.
Tango down.
Because that's the same thing with Stardust. You're telling me you want to be a token. That's literally it. A token. You want to be this white supremacist token black friend until they decide they like black people. You want to be these white supremacist token Indian woman friend until they decide they're not white supremacists. You're right, Aston.
Frost wins.
Okay, and for anyone confused about why you can't do both when you're talking about protecting and uplifting marginalized people and doing outreach to neo-Nazis so that you can de-radicalize them, it's because both of them are each mutually respective full-time fucking jobs. And people seeing you talk to Nazis is going to make them look at you funny. It doesn't matter what the fuck you're doing it for. And if you try to go out of their way to explain like, hey, I'm de-radicalizing them, they can see that. And it should bother you when they can see you talking about how you want to de-radicalize them and talk to them. Oh, I got mine first. No one is equal under capitalism. Necessarily under capitalism, you have two classes, the capitalist class and the working class. If everybody was in the capitalist class, that is called socialism. If everyone owned everything, that is literally fucking called socialism. How did that miss? There's no way for us all to become capitalists. Facts. I was gonna try to come back this round, but
Bifrost devoured.
Final round. Fight.
I'll pull him rank.
that missed. Are you fucking kidding me?
Finish him. Frost wins.
He can't think. Yeah, and that's another thing where I was like, fam, I'm literally just talking over his head. I don't know how to talk to this guy. He literally just has like a high school understanding of politics and like world history and so on and so forth. It's 1 a.m. too. I'm fucking hot. I'm tired. I gotta go lay in my fucking hot ass room. I'm just like, I'm done. I'm good. It's sad how little they teach us about economics. That's intentional, though. Yeah, our AC is not strong in this room, and my PC is sitting right fucking next to me, so it's like a space heater, and it's just like, I'm dripping. I'm just in here dripping. He's not able to see beyond himself and look back at himself yet. That's why I asked if he was like 24. But the crazy thing is I've been identifying as an anarchist since I was like 9.
Shang Tsung. Jax. Chronica's Key.
I just moved from ANCAP to actual real anarchist. And I think that's why niggas like Fabian get upset when I call him a feudalist, is because he's thinking that I think he doesn't really believe he's an anarchist when that's not the case. I'm sure he 110% believes he's an anarchist.
Sonya's not here to save you, Jack.
Round 1. Fight.
I'm smoking.
Vincatus, bonkus. I don't know why he tech rolled right there. Anarchism and capitalism contradict? They do. But if you're a fucking idiot, and I'm speaking about myself too, you can think that they don't contradict, because the anarchism part you think refers to state regulation. They don't see capitalism as hierarchy. They think capitalism. They're on that fucking goofy, the free of the markets, the free of the people shit. Bourgeoisie and the proletariat. You have the people who own everything and the people who rent from the people who own everything. Those are the two classes that you have under capitalism. Just like right now. You might have some people who are more well off renting.
Fight.
But it doesn't mean that there aren't people who are living on the fucking street. You don't know how to do this. You don't do this. You don't know how to do this. I can't believe I did that. I'm so stupid.
Brutality.
Your soul is mine.
Shang Tsung wins.
Right, yeah. He wants rainbow capitalism so that, like, we all have equally shitty, like, shacks that we have to rent from the capitalists. Where they're used to privilege, equality feels like a privilege, oppression. Yeah. That's the other thing that Taj doesn't understand either.
Your skills going Elvis.
Round 2. Fight.
You'll get laid off, but we'll ask for your pronouns first? Yeah. The Raytheon drone about to level your whole fucking neighborhood is gonna have a rainbow flag on it. This dude is just eating man grab. I don't know why I did that.
Final round. Fight. Fatality.
You could still see his skull, like, in his face, but they pull his skeleton out. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, but it's Mortal Kombat, so. If you had an extra copy, I wouldn't, I mean, don't buy it for me or nothing. I don't think his bones are supposed to be there. Like that. Your body is made of plasticine, facts. It's like in the original Mortal Kombats, like in the Mortal Kombat 2 or 3, where like someone would explode and all them fucking bones would be everywhere. There would be like 4 rib cages and like 8 fucking skulls laying on the ground. Toasty! You explode into 24 rib cages from an uppercut? Yeah, Aston Mac. That was Dan Forden. He actually says toasty. I fucked with it in Mortal Kombat 4, where you would do an uppercut or a nice combo or something. He would come out and be like, toasty! 3D! Because it was the first time the game was in 3D. Oh shit, yeah, he says toasty. It's gonna be this bullshit ass fucking Sub-Zero mix. Toasty 3D was for Scorpion's move? Oh, word. I don't have a whole lot of strong memories of MK4. I have very vivid memories of MK3 and MK1. Not so much MK2 because I didn't really play a whole lot of MK2. But MK4, I like rented from Blockbuster for a couple of days, one summer, and then never really touched again. Noob Saibot was my guy too. I fuck with Noob. I don't know why the game is frozen now. This is weird. Smoke Asayak's not in the new games? Yeah, I wish. Smoke isn't even mentioned this game. It's kind of sad. Like, Cyrax is in this game, but he's an NPC. It's pretty fucking goofy. Yeah, I was wondering what the fuck was happening with that. Yeah, put people in the corner and punch them all day. Yeah, because MK4 had infinites, too. I remember MK4 had infinites until max damage kicked in. And MK4 had, like, true infinites with weapons, too. The one and only.
Noob Saibot. The Hourglass. Round 1. Fight.
There's Noob for the last one. Nah, I wasn't cooking no Aston, because you know that first dude is gonna say I rage quit. Even though the reason why we rage quit is because he's fucking stupid. And he wasn't trying to engage in good faith. If I ask you the question, what's more important, outreach to neo-Nazis or protection of marginalized people, and you can't tell me the answer to that, then yeah. You should not be doing any of this. Teeters on copyright issues because of that Sauron mask? That's funny. I didn't know that. Didn't do that.
Finish him. Jax wins.
Try to fucking zone me with that bullshit. Fuck out of here. Who we raiding tonight? After I take this W. Who's finna catch my raid?
Round 1. Fight.
Fuck. Jason Society is live.
Fight.
Hey, chill.
Finish him. Friendship. Jax wins.
That's mad funny. Wick, Testy, and all of them are in Taj's chat right now. All right, let's see. USDA certified organic mad facts. All right, let's fucking raid into. Let's raid into MF Slayer. Y'all fuck with Mortal Kombat? Let's raid into Slayer. Actually, let's raid bars and joysticks just for the lulz. So you guys can get acquainted with Testy and Wick in there.